Why, hello there, you bunch of lovely people, you! Today is a special day on Randomcraft. Although we're not on Randomcraft, we're on a separate creative build server, just for the birthday of Randomcraft, because today it is 1 year old. Well, actually it's not quite today. But the day that it falls on, I think, is a Monday, which is just isn't that much of a good day for streaming, so, you know, we're doing it today. So, we're doing a birthday day for Randomcraft on not its birthday, and not on its server. But it's its birthday, so, you know, deal with it. And I figured the good thing to do would be to actually put some questions that I've been asked over the past year about my videos and some of the other randoms videos to the actual randoms themselves, as well as asking some questions that I've actually really wanted to ask some of the randoms about their characters. So we're going to jump into a group VC, like voice chat, with some of the randoms that are online at the moment, building away here at the shopping district, and we're going to ask them some questions. So if you have any questions, you should let me know in the chat, and then I'll put them forwards to them. And whilst we're doing that, we might do a little bit of building, huh? Because, you know, that's what I'm known for. So let's join this group. Why, hello there.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Dun, dun, dun.
How are you all?
Good, and you?
Doing well.
I see a lesser speckled lag monster over there building some sort of airship looking thing.
Yeah.
You know, I heard that there was a gentleman on YouTube who was making an airship tutorial, but he's really lazily just never finished it. if anybody knows you, I don't know, but that guy sounds like he's a real pain.
I think he was like a paper bag on his head or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I know.
Nimro, what is this air balloon? Oh, do we have a Meowth air balloon? I approve.
We have a Meowth air balloon.
I approve of this.
I mean, of course, the prankster of the team has to build it because that's what makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, that does make absolute sense. I like it. Is Shalon here, or is he?
He is.
I am currently
here,
muted because I am enjoying Doritos, and I don't want to put you all through that.
I'm enjoying Doritos.
It does indeed sound like his mic is in the Doritos bag, as Entity put it.
I am enjoying Doritos. Okay, well that makes sense.
Too far.
Well, over the past
Sometimes
year,
you just got to enjoy Doritos.
because as I just let my audience know, Randomcraft is now 1 year old. Well, it's not actually today, but so Randomcraft is not quite 1 year old today. So to celebrate it, we're not playing actually on Randomcraft. So
Yes.
which makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is Randomcraft after all, so of course we're not going to celebrate this ordinarily. That's just not going to happen. But over the past, year, I've been asked quite a few questions regarding my channel, and to be honest, the channel of other randoms, and there's actually just some questions that I've had that kind of break the immersion of Randomcraft if I was just to, ask it in-game, that I think a few of you would be able to answer.
Okay.
I'll hold off on asking Shalon because Doritos. I understand. Also, we are not sponsored by Doritos. The product placement. There are other very good chips available. If you want to have those chips.
Here's a good sound. Oh, that's
there you go.
The sound of opening a soda.
That sounded more like somebody breaking their leg.
It did.
Hey,
Also, a distinct possibility.
There goes Shalon falling off ladders on stream for everybody's amusement.
Do you
go
do
to
that
A&E.
IRL as well? It all makes so much sense now.
So,
Man has a science degree, can't climb a ladder.
I'm going to try not to interfere with your guys' buildings too much because I understand that you're building away. So I don't want to interfere too much with what you're actually trying to do. But I'm still going to ask you questions and try not to put you off. So if you don't want to.
Sure.
But my but my first question's for Lag, because so a few people will already be aware of this, but Randomcraft is entirely your fault.
That is true. That is 100% true.
And
Very true.
I think an important question would be to ask you, why? just why?
Why?
Yes. Why did you want to do Randomcraft? Because I know why you wanted to do Randomcraft, because it was the conversation we had before yourself and I started Randomcraft, but nobody else really knows. So,
I mean, I guess the answer to that has evolved a lot over time, though, too. Like, originally, it was just I really enjoyed the. Okay, so backstory. I was a solo
origins,
Minecrafter
guys.
forever.
Let's get in. Once
I was
upon
a solo
a time.
Minecrafter forever. And as anybody who's listened to any of our out of character banter before knows, I am old. So
Incredibly so.
So
Incredibly so. And they
I'm over
actually
40, guys.
started
Come
the
on.
development of Minecraft and just built it around Lag Monster.
yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, me and
That's
Knox
why. That's why it's
anyway.
broken so much.
Just like my soul. But anyway, I was a solo crafter forever, and I just, I finally one day decided to jump into multiplayer. I never really messed with servers before. I found Ironclad. It's actually one of the. I think I tried like one or two servers before that, and like nobody was online. Nobody. There was no community there. Like, I was like, well, that's not why I went online. So I wanted to play with other people. So I joined Ironclad, and I met several of the randoms there. Actually, probably more than not.
Yeah. There's a fair amount of us that came from there.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed my experience there. But I had also really wanted to get into content creation, and it seemed like it'd be, as much as I love Ironclad, it didn't really lend to that enough. You know what I mean? Like there was there's too many wild cards, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, and also being a moderator there, like I didn't want to split my duties on that. Like, not that I'm being a very good mod right now, just to be perfect.
Oh no, you're an awful moderator. Terrible, one of the worst.
Terrible. I'm never around. And when I am online on there, I'm playing on a server that I don't even have mod powers on.
That is true.
I mean,
Because when we started, one of the conversations I remember us having was about content creation and roleplay and stuff like that. Because I know that you're a big Dungeons and Dragons fan, as am I. So it's sort of, that was sort of like our inspiration was to create a roleplay inspired server that we could craft stories.
I have played a wizard, although
I can't imagine you've played a more incompetent one. Although maybe
no, all the other ones tend to actually be able to do magic.
Lag Monster as a character
of success.
Lag Monster as a character has always sort of reminded me of a slightly more darker version of I think he's called Rincewind from the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett, who's just a really useless wizard with like no backbone and stuff.
No, that's about right.
Yeah.
I would say Lag is a little more brave than that, though.
Oh yeah. He's brave, but he shouldn't be.
No, absolutely not. I mean, his bravery is completely misplaced and downright, frankly, reckless.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's kind of the idea. Like he's.
Yeah, because when we started Randomcraft, the idea was to be different to a lot of other SMPs that were out there by making it, and I don't want this to say like I like other SMPs, but I wanted it to be focused around fun, not necessarily about the Let's Play side so much, because there's hundreds upon hundreds of those on YouTube already, but to actually for the players to be having some proper fun. So fun always comes first in regards to the actual stuff. Like some of my roleplay doesn't always make sense. My character some jumps from like one sort of personality to another and stuff. So it's not always coherent, but it is always fun, at least the way that I see fun. So
Hey, that's what matters, though.
yeah, right. I'm going to leave you to do your airship, and I'm going to go and bother the Nim, who is now who is now. Is he making a fist? Is he going to punch me?
Yeah. I mean,
he is.
Meowth. He's always got a fist.
Yeah. Well, can cats? Okay. Well,
Meowth,
this question is kind of no longer like Randomcraft related, but can cats make a fist?
I mean, I had a cat.
If they're polydactyl, yes.
Yeah. I had a cat who jumped. He actually, no, I lie. He didn't jump. He got caught under the car. He was pitch black. Like you couldn't see him at night, and somebody got him under the car. And his back legs were pulled out. And the poor little guy, he was very, very brave.
Jesus, Nim, keep it light, God.
I had to.
We don't know. This could be a harrowing story of a cat overcoming difficult odds.
It is. So they had to. His pelvis got dislocated and broken. And they had to put it back in together. And so he was out of action for a little while. And he lived in like this little pen in the office. At that time, I was like still a kid. I was homeschooling. Yes, internet. That explains my weirdness.
Oh, I was trying to say that explains so much about you, because I was also homeschooled, and now it makes all the sense.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, he recovered, but his one back paw on the right side never. It didn't go right. So he used to walk, instead of walking on the pad, he couldn't straighten the foot. He used to walk on the back of the foot. And the back of the foot actually grew its own little pad, like out of calluses and that. And he used to, he was quite fine. And, but his paw was literally pulled into a fist. So, I mean, that is where that was going. Happy ending, the cat's leg pulled straight. One day he jumped on the table. It was perfectly fine. And it was kind of like a miracle. But yeah, he could make a fist with that paw. So, yes, cats can make fists. And
okay, cats can make cats can make fists, everyone, after horrific accidents. There we go.
After horrific,
or
if you want your cat to be able to, yeah.
Or
some cats are just born that way.
So, Nim, yes. a few people, if they've been watching your streams and paying close attention, will be aware that Fluffy is inspired by a real life pet.
Yes.
Yes. Which do you want to just briefly explain that before I ask the main question, just in case somebody's on here that's like, wait, Fluffy's a thing?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Fluffy is one of the chickens from the very first hatching that my family had of chickens. The chickens are a fairly new thing in that they're only like 7 years old here. And the year after we got them, we decided we'd try hatch some babies and see how that went. And he was part of the first hatching. And he turned out to be incredibly friendly. They all grew up kind of inside. And he kind of stuck around with that. The others they live outside. But he's kind of the inside chicken. He fights with his dad, so they have to live on opposite sides of the yard.
That makes sense. So my actual
he's
question.
Actually, don't tell him he's a chicken. He thinks he's a parrot.
my actual question for you is, what made you decide to? Because you were the very first random to give villagers that personality on Randomcraft, because you created Tim and Tom, which I liked so much I brought them into Randomcraft very quickly. I was just like, right,
that
Portal's
was-
Christmas event, Tim and Tom.
Very quick.
Yeah, it was. It was a couple of weeks after we started. Was the intention to either bring them over or create like more villagers for you to talk to? And why did you decide to go that route? Like, why did you decide to become like essentially like a? Because it almost feels like anybody that's played, no one's probably old enough except Mike because he's ancient. But in Ocarina of Time, when you start that, you start off in the forest, and you're kind of like the odd one out amongst all the rest of the.
You really
So,
going back there, buddy. Just saying, you talk about showing my age.
I don't want to see your age. You put it away. So
quick dabs so the kids don't notice.
yeah, you dab, I'll floss. It'll be fine. They've
we go.
remade them. They've redone them on the Switch. It's fine. It's okay. I think they redid them on the Switch. Yeah, so it's okay. For virtual store and stuff nowadays. But he was always like the odd one out in Ocarina of Time, and that was kind of like you were playing like this singular part of, and that's kind of like the vibe I got from your very, very first episode was like it's almost like Nimrul's a part of the village, but just looks a bit weird to them.
Well, that's the idea. Is it kind of reflected because I played offline for a very long time. Partly because internet in South Africa was a bit behind.
Oh yeah, we've all had Nimrul related issues due to internet and stuff of yours. Just power related problems.
Power, yeah. I was actually wondering if I'd make the stream because we had a massive storm roll in, and that just means no computer. I have had my computer hit by lightning, and it's not a fun thing.
That sounds like no fun.
No, it means much replacing, and it's not gonna happen. So, I was offline for a very, very long time. So yeah, it kind of was aimed at reflecting that whole thing, where when you play in a single player world offline, you know, you build and you build, and eventually, like, the only people you have to talk to are the villagers. So
Dude,
I don't know about you
that's when
guys.
the crazy sets in.
Exactly. But I always ended up making my villages near a village. Like, whatever I was building always ended up near a village, just because it felt like at least then there's something else on the server that's vaguely human, even if it's really not.
Yeah, so it's like the lonely kid who just talks to his toys like they're friends. That's
exactly. Because that's always kind of like what ended up happening. And so it's meant to kind of reflect that offline thing that happens before you head in. Which is also why up until unless it's 100% necessary for the narrative, Nimrul's conversation with the villagers is always one-sided because she can understand them.
That makes sense.
She speaks villager fluently.
Because Tim and Tom are arguably two of the two characters within Randomcraft that probably have they've had a lot happen to them over the past year.
They have more character development than some of the random.
Yeah, like yeah.
You're not wrong.
Like so, yeah, like they've been through a lot. They've had a lot of stuff occur. Amazingly, like the person that I thought would deal with Tim and Tom actually hasn't yet, because I genuinely thought like what's going to happen is Shallan being like, I'm going to be the god of villagers, would just kidnap them.
This is not an option, Shallan. I know you're still listening.
Shallan has a very
come after you.
Shallan really doesn't care about most villagers. He has a weird affinity for Gerald. Well, but outside of that, like it's a very Pinky in the Brain type of relationship.
Okay, so I actually have a question for you, Shallan. Okay, so we've asked Mike about the stuff about the beginning of Randomcraft. We've asked Nim about Tim and Tom. My question for you is relatively simple, but I think harder to answer. What's wrong with you?
Of course, you ask that as I get out the TNT.
Yeah. So a lot of sorry. In all seriousness, sorry. You play,
So-
and don't take this the wrong way, but you 100% play the stupidest character in Randomcraft.
It might even spread outside of Randomcraft. If we take multiple SMPs, there might not be a lot of challengers.
But here's the thing: you're, I don't know about the most intelligent. You're definitely the most academically gifted of of all of the randoms. So,
really,
because you're not actually stupid, like at all. Like I've had conversations with you. You're not. You're not a naturally insane. Like, what? Why did you decide to make 𝗟𝗛 an absolute maniac? Is what the actual question.
I mean, it is a long, epic saga, and it would take up the entirety of this live stream. However, I will paraphrase it down. So when 𝗟𝗛 came, originally, what the plan was with him is he was going to be like a supervillain of the server. Not directly against the randoms, because there is, I like to think with role-playing, there is something with working together as a team with the people you're playing with. You don't want to make things miserable for them. And so I was like, okay, how do I be evil without being evil? And then I just kind of quickly learned that, you know what? I don't understand the game well enough to really even present an evil, a really extreme level. And so I went through just a lot of iterations of just not really understanding what 𝗟𝗛 was, how I wanted him to be. I'm still probably not necessarily there yet. But I did I felt like we were lacking kind of an instigator, not in the sense of causing problems, but just something that just causes people to interact as their characters and hopefully draw out a little bit more of their uniqueness. And then I met 𝗘𝗚𝗚, and it just went downhill from there. I did not plan on 𝗟𝗛 being as obnoxious and unintelligent as he was around 𝗘𝗚𝗚, but it reminded me a lot of the Michael Scott character from The Office, and how, like, when he was interacting with the Toby and the Jim character, like, he's lovable, but he has issues. And 𝗘𝗚𝗚 just kind of brought that out, and it just kind of stuck around. So, yeah, that's, I have no idea if that's coherent, but that's the thing.
So
it's kind of like the old
answer.
straight. It's like the old straight man and the goofball, like motif.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's true. So essentially, like, some of like the early days of Randomcraft of 𝗟𝗛 behaving wildly different and sort of almost seemingly having mood swings was really just you not figuring out how you want to portray them.
That's a common theme with me. I think a big part of like doing this kind of stuff is that long-term planning, and that is just something that I just genuinely as a person struggle with. I like to come up with ideas and I'm like, perfect, let's implement them, and then the next day I'm like, forget that idea, new idea is even better. And so I don't settle very well, and so you see that like 𝗟𝗛 is a great vehicle for that, especially with some of the other concepts and things that have developed with his transmorphing ability, I guess, to allow, well, that randomness, which is, you know, in some ways kind of the purpose of Randomcraft, is just to be random, ridiculous.
Yeah,
and entertaining,
100%,
hopefully.
100%. And also just I'm just going to address you, the audience here. That's actually a really fair point. Out of all of the randoms, I think 𝗟𝗛 highlights it the best. Is you don't actually need to be cleverly coherent with ideas. Oh, here we go. He's looking. That's right. We'll look at the camera together. You don't need to be like cleverly coherent. Like, as long as you're funny and having fun, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I've got this plan and this plan and this plan. Some of 𝗟𝗛's episodes have been episodes that have made me laugh the most, and it's because he's insane. not because it's coherent and has this really well thought out story or even builds, because I mean some of his early builds were horrible. So You don't have to be good at anything. You just have to be funny. That's it. Just be funny. That's good enough.
Secret to life. Some people have looks, others have comedy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. That was very insightful, actually.
I tried. The answer would change tomorrow, but for today, that's the answer.
Oh, this airship shape is becoming very Art
I have
Nouveau,
a really
very
interesting.
flowy.
I have a very interesting idea in my mind, and
Oh dear.
yeah.
Oh dear.
No. It's good. If it turns out half as good as what it is in my head, it'll look pretty cool.
That's always
Although, as you
that's
can tell,
always
this
the
thing is
That's
going to
the
be
hard
massive.
part.
yeah that
Getting
is
it
the hard part
halfway
as
good as in
yeah.
your head.
As a builder, that is the thing. You have this great idea in your mind, and then
I'll be honest, I spent the last few days just working out the time lapse for the ISV hotel that I've been working on, because I have like 40 hours of designing and building that thing that I need a time lapse somehow.
Really?
I don't know how that's happening.
Really? Why would you put so many of this vile thing all over my build?
That's why
would you do this?
What did you do?
I went quiet and was just giggling to myself because I was just zoomed in watching Shallan just put traders everywhere.
It's actually really satisfying to watch them like jump off.
Plummet to their death?
Are they
Yes,
jumping
jump
or are they
off.
being hit?
They're totally jumping off. No one's pushing them.
No, who would do that? Oh, you a monster? Oh wait,
Oh,
yes.
only a monster.
Oh, wait, yes, you are. Oh well,
But
continue.
That brings the
Fine.
comments of
The
how
horns
what you
hold up
want
the
in
halo,
your
guys.
head.
Oh, that was very satisfying.
That was very satisfying.
So,
wish
I
we had been
actually-
recording that because that little jump could have been a very, very satisfying shot.
Right?
I actually have a question that I want each of you to answer. And it doesn't have to be even necessarily something you've done, but what's been your favorite moment of Randomcraft so far? And Mike, you can answer first, seeing as I asked you the first question.
My favorite moment of Randomcraft.
Yeah,
so
like what's
far.
been your favorite thing that's occurred?
I guess I would have to say the thing I had the most fun with, and it was pretty early on, was our very first event, the Christmas event where we were like, giving the gifts, just because it was kind of cool. Like, you never knew what to expect. You'd come back to your base and it was like presents.
No, yeah, naughty and nice.
Or you'd come back to your base and there was presents and your house was full of coal, and then a Nimrod would show up, and then there was a horde of horrible monsters that destroyed everything.
I mean, in fairness, some of that
Than the actual gift was.
some of that was 100% your fault, because that swamp was way too dangerous for a very long time.
Oh no, you're right. I absolutely could have done a much better job of lighting things up.
There was points where I went to visit you, and before I even opened the door, a creeper would drop off your roof and just blow up the door, and it's like, well, that's easy. I don't even have to right-click anymore to get through.
Door is now
That's. I'll tell you a secret. That is a door system I came up with. So you set it up so that the creeper spawns and falls, blows up, opens the door for you. It's a little bit annoying though to close the door back. You do have to
Right.
physically put the door back. So it's not a perfect system. Mojang, you need to get on it so dispensers place doors. Just saying.
That would be useful. So your favorite part of Randomcraft so far was naughty and nice.
I think
Which,
so. In
I
terms
think-
of just like the pure level of fun that it all was, and and, you know, even if we weren't like directly on screen with each other, it allowed for like collaboration without needing to necessarily be around each other all the time.
That was true.
See
Yeah,
what I'm
it was a socially distanced collaboration, which I think was fitting
Yeah.
for the time. Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, we'll probably end up doing naughty and nice again, because that was a fun event. I agree, that was a fun event.
think we should put a twist on it though. Whatever we do.
Oh yeah. It won't be the same, but perhaps I'll have something up my sleeves for this Christmas.
Something in your box.
Something in my box. Nimril, same question.
Yeah.
What
Same question?
Yeah, same question. What has been your favorite part of Randomcraft thus far? Nimril butt in my face. That was rude. I was really coming over here to ask you a question.
Thanks are great.
I'm gonna stand on this tree and you keep your damn distance. Oh, here we go. God damn it.
Okay, I don't know. My answer's a bit of a weird one. I think my favorite part of it has been... It's like a very subtle rivalry kind of thing. We're all working overtime to make sure our builds are that extra step better.
I am not.
Yeah.
Just for
Yeah, except Shalon.
You know what? I would totally say that you're right, except we've all seen the improvements in your builds and we all...
Hey, Rainimator. Welcome to the stream. Today we're celebrating the fact that Randomcraft is 1 year old and I'm asking the random questions about this past year. So your favorite part has been the rivalry of...
Yeah, like
Random
building
Craft.
rivalry, but at the same time, it's also the scariest part. Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's incredibly intimidating.
Well, I can see that. Like the thing is, it's not even like it's almost like an intentional rivalry. It's more like...
No, it's not.
I know. For me, right at the beginning, I think it's in my very, very first episode. I during the stream, the live stream event of us launching Randomcraft, I predominantly focused on just mining, just gathering materials, which I'm thankful for because it made me extremely wealthy early on. But then I went to Peanut's base, and I was like, well, my base will not stand. Like literally, it's coming down. Like it is like I'm letting everybody down. Peanut's base looked really nice. It was well organized. Like we'd only played for like a few hours for the stream and she got everything set up and I was living in like this cobblestone cube, which as a builder was already hurting me. So yeah, I felt like the need to update to keep up, if you know what I mean. Like it was just, yeah, I felt bad. Like I was letting her down, building so close to her and building something so terrible. And I've done that a couple of times. Like I remember going to Lags and seeing like a portal and being like, well, this would make it a lot easier to get to his. And then seeing your shop in the shopping district, because your bookshop, Nimrod, was like the first shop in the shopping district, the Book Buddy shop.
Yeah. And then
thinking,
everybody needed enchanting stuff.
Yeah, we did. Everybody really did need enchantment book. And then I was thinking, I need to get my shift on and get my shop underway. And so I planned and tried to get Entech sorted as quickly as I could, based on the fact that you had already got something here, and I didn't want it to feel like just this empty place with just one shop. So I was like, I need to. So I think some of it's almost like at times unintentional, almost like rivalry, where we just sort of like see the other person's thing and like, damn, that's so good, I need to step up my game.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is it's not even like a said rivalry. It's just this like thing that's there, but it's at the same time it's not like a bad kind of rivalry. It's like got this good feel of like a jovial kind of thing to it. It's fun. None of us are intentionally trying to like, you know, do anything malicious or anything. It's just this fun little rivalry that's actually pushing us together.
I just accept the fact. Me and Derpal, much as I'd like to be his friend, I just don't think it's going to work out this season.
Shalon, if I could just interject here, you grief your own builds, so
It's not griefing if you want to do it.
I would argue that that's not true. Griefers want to do it.
But does it matter if the victim wants it to happen?
I think it's a bit like some other laws. I don't want to really discuss it, but I think if it's consensual, it's okay. So as long as he's consenting with himself.
you know, okay.
Which also,
I'll
I'm
let
gonna
it go.
Yeah, Shalon.
Agreeing.
What would you say has been your favorite part of this season so far?
So unfortunately, okay, it's not really unfortunate. Actually, my favorite part, hands down, and it just happened this last week, was 100% Magic's. What did he call it? His museum, I guess. I don't know. In his last feature, he built his little time machine, which I don't know what he's gonna do with that yet. But it just tickled me to go in there and just see how Magic decided to use armor stands to represent like all of our first episodes. And it was just kind of fun, like watching him show each person. I'm like, I actually remember that scene. Or yeah, that is that's not even a word. That is essentially this person, like, and it was just really cool to see that. Outside of that specific event, I would say, honestly, just the help that everybody has given. It's not really a moment, but for me, that's just been the most useful. It's just all the different suggestions and help and discussing.
I think that's a valid answer. I think that, I mean, it's definitely because working on a server that is like a collaborative effort, we do all like Nim was saying, it is almost like an unintentional rivalry. There's like this bit of competition, but on the flip side to that, if somebody is like, this bit doesn't look quite right, we're always willing to like try and share our skills and give input to make somebody else's stuff look better, so we can then look at it and go, well, now I need to up my game. So
yeah, sometimes it's like the equivalent of getting in a fist fight and having the person you're wailing on be like, no, just put a little bit more force behind it. That'll do much better.
Yeah, just giving you tips on your right hook.
Exactly.
Well, I think the coolest thing about that too, like just that whole dynamic in general, is just the fact that like sometimes we get to surprise ourselves vicariously through somebody else. We'll show somebody a skill, or we'll teach them a little bit of something, and then of course, you know, we all have our own style, we all have our own take on that, and we come back to that later and we see what they've done, and I know for me, like looking at Magic's improvement in his building, like the little bit of help I gave him, I'm blown away with how much his style changed. But I wouldn't even say it's changed. He just evolved it. But he really impressed me, and it like it wasn't what I expected right off the bat, but it's his and it works and I like it.
Yeah, I mean that's something that you and I have discussed a couple of times regarding Shalon and Magic, is how quickly they have learned the things that they were weak at. Like they were both relatively weak at building, self-admittedly, and then like they've learned a hell of a lot this season. I've been really impressed with them. Nimrod's just making this Meowth more and more scary every time I come over here.
Why is it scary?
I don't know. I just don't like balloons with faces on, I guess. I've learned something new about myself today, as well as all of you.
Did you never watch Pokemon?
TNT, of course.
Hey, get that out of here.
So Enigma, what is your favorite part of Randomcraft? Since we're all
I think my favorite part of Randomcraft this season so far is accidental like nuggets of gold during collaboration, things that because a lot of people won't be aware of this, and I do feel it's important to state Randomcraft. So there's other SMPs out there that do roleplay, but a lot of the time they pre-discuss it and it's scripted. They know what each other are going to say during that conversation. We just don't do that. Sometimes to our own detriment, but we just don't do that. And I think that can be difficult at times recording. Particularly, I struggle with 𝗟𝗛 when I'm recording with him because I find him stupidly funny, and I sometimes just there was I think it was episode 21, I think, or it was either episode 21 or 22 of my season, and it was the Detective Enigma episode, and I was talking to 𝗟𝗛, interrogating him on a beach. And then in the end, I think I turned around and said something like, "Of course you don't know, you're an idiot," and started walking away. And 𝗟𝗛 turned around and said, "If I had my faculties, I'd be offended." And I struggled so much to not laugh in that moment because I didn't know he was going to say that. I knew that I was going to interrogate him, but I didn't know what his reactions would be to things or anything like that. And I find those bits really funny. Another great example was when 𝗥𝗚𝗥𝗘 went over to help 𝗤𝗡𝗏 with the portal, and then he polymorphed and then threw some rotten flesh on the floor because in reality you needed some inventory space, and it just looked like to me it looked like 𝗥𝗚𝗥𝗘 had shed his skin, like he'd polymorphed and then transformed his flesh and then just threw his old skin on the floor. So in character, like 𝗤𝗏𝗏 is just like, "I'm sorry, did you just throw your flesh on the floor?" And then you turned round in character and just said, "That's not my flesh." And then we both, completely by chance, backed away from the flesh slowly. And that was a really when I got to editing, that moment made me laugh. And then with Nimrod, just like the back and forth, sort of between pranks between me and Nimrod.
You guys have this ongoing prank war going on. For sure.
has been fun.
That prank war makes me happy.
The chicken related escapades has been interesting. Like I found that extremely funny, and it was really interesting to sort of like have like I'd do something, then Nimrod would do something, then it kept on going up and up and up until the point where we were nearly breaking the server with prank. Like, and it was just like, "Oh, we need to stop. We need to create a truce here, just so we don't kill the entire season." Because that was the getting out of hand. Yeah. But I think that's my favorite.
That one of that thing of yours at my base, when that went off, I mean, I've got a beast of a machine going on, and even that thing went like.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, when I started that and my FPS dropped to like 2 frames a second, I was like, I may have done a little too much, but I still left it. I still left it running. Mistake. But yeah, I think that's been my favorite part of season 1 is the collaboration, the accidental bits that occur that amuse me, and also working on collaborative projects like doing the Nether Hub, working on the event island, doing stuff over in Random Land. I think that they're things that I've really enjoyed, because they're things that although I've played on a lot of like SMPs, but I've never done that level of collaboration where it's particularly the Nether Hub was predominantly during the design phase was me and Nimrod just working closely together and coming up with these different ideas and stuff and bouncing ideas off of each other, and that was very different to me for me to be doing, because most of the people that I ordinarily played with that were friends before I joined Randomcraft were Redstoners. So I was the only builder, so it's just what I could come up with is what got built. So yeah, working with another builder in an in-depth way like that, it's very for want of a better word, it's like a very intimate type of thing. Like you're kind of like figuring different bits out, and trying to like figure out how that person is thinking, because we're not always the best at, I'm definitely not the best at explaining things at times, and trying to figure out what that person means and learning how they work and their methodology and workflow, and yeah, that's been interesting to me. Not necessarily rare of fun, but definitely interesting. All right, now
Entity has a question actually.
Oh yes.
If I can interject there.
Yeah, yes.
Entity would like to know if there is the biggest regret for Randomcraft. Like, if you had to pick one, do you have a major regret? What is your biggest regret?
With Randomcraft, mine's relatively easy, and I'm not going to go too much in depth with it because keep it light is the rule of streaming. But it was the starting time. A family member had died like literally the week I was recording, and I wish I'd have taken that week away. But I didn't feel. I felt like I'd let everybody down if I did. And my first few episodes, I was really struggling to record. That was probably my biggest regret, is not taking that time out at the beginning to clear my head, for sure.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right, you, Mike. It's yours.
What's that?
What's your regret for this season? We know Shallon's. His is just being Shallon. But
yes.
But what's yours?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say it was a regret, but I guess my biggest challenge that I can spin that into that. I guess my biggest regret is just my inexperience with most of these things. I feel like I've spent a ton of time learning skill sets and learning how to do things efficiently and all that, and less time actually putting out content, which not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you know, I've said this before to you many times, like, I think that I would rather take more time to do something and put out what I want than rush through it and put out something that I'm not happy with. And you know, I know that doesn't relate to Randomcraft as a whole directly, but in a way it does.
I think it does.
So,
I think it does. I think it's something we've all encountered as well. Is it is the first time we've all really done this type of thing, and it's the first season, right? So we've all come across that challenging bit of being inexperienced in at least in one thing. Some multiple, some in just a couple, you know. But yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think that's been a struggle for me as well. Like, just that lack of experience and it taking a little bit longer because you've got to figure out those things before you can actually put them into practice.
Right. Yeah, I think we all kind of take advantage of the simplicity of some of the things we've watched before. I mean, I'll just come out right and say it. I think every one of us has taken some inspiration from another very famous SMP. But at the same time, like, I think it's good that we all try to, like, I guess, keep our own style to it, I guess. But at the same time, like, I don't know where I was going with this.
He's old, everyone. He forgets halfway through, and
that's
you
pretty
know
much what
it
happened.
just devolves into an old man rambling in an armchair.
But I'm saying, like,
when I was young,
I guess we watch that and we think it's so easy and like we could do it and it wouldn't be that hard, and then you get into it and you realize, like, this is a whole freaking job. Like,
yeah, there is. Yeah,
it's playing a game. It's playing a game, but it's a whole job.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into. There's a lot more that goes into Randomcraft, and it's first apparent as well. Like when you and I discussed the idea of doing like roleplay thing, we weren't really under the we didn't particularly mind if other people didn't do roleplay. It was just we wanted something where we could roleplay. But even then, like just trying to get that coordinated requires a lot of skill. And even though we had both of us had experience with doing like Dungeons and Dragons and coordinating roleplay style stuff in that way, content is very different to playing D&D.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a different animal. Like you know, we when we play D&D, we spend probably an hour or two, a couple hours building a character. We know its attributes. If you know the rules, you know how to use all the things that it has. Everything's in black and white and it's written down on paper for you. And while I'm sure all of us have notes for our characters and for the stuff that goes on within Randomcraft and our episodes and all that kind of stuff, there's no systems behind it, I guess. Like D&D has systems behind it. Even that other game, the Barbarians game that we had talked about, there's systems behind it. Although that one does an amazingly good job of like helping you create your character through the narrative of the character creation, which I think is great. But yeah, you see what I'm saying though. Like it's all got to come from up here, from up in our head. We're all there's no character sheet.
Yeah,
and there's no reference book to go to and go. Well, this is how I would do this.
Like there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration, and then when you couple that with trying to keep a schedule for releasing videos, it becomes very daunting at times. Yeah,
no, I agree.
Sure,
100%.
sure. Shalon, what's your biggest?
Yeah,
I'm dreading to ask you this. Shalon, what's your biggest regret of this season?
Honestly,
making friends with Gerald.
Honest,
goddamn jerk.
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
For me, I think I have two. One is I have been not very good. That's a good sentence. At doing. I don't want to say
college-educated member, by the way, guys. Just
hey, you know what? Einstein did not say, but supposedly said something about like this more simple. Anyways, I'm derailing. It was early on.
The Shalon special.
There we go. Early on, I did honestly a terrible job at interacting with everybody. I was just kind of like on my island, just kind of playing. I was playing single player, essentially, is what I was doing. And so early on, I missed out on a lot of just the creative opportunities, shenanigans, different plot lines, and things that could have developed by doing that. So that was one of the regrets, and the other one I don't. Oh, and then the other regret I have is, when I originally started doing YouTube videos, it was because I was teaching a 6th grade class, and they were all way into Minecraft. So I think one of the things I wanted to accomplish was showing them just different mechanics and things that I had learned from playing with other people on servers. Not everybody, that in my class knew like how villager trading worked or knew where to go find. Like there was a lot of basic, just general Minecraft skills that they didn't know that I actually really wanted to show them how to do. Yeah. And that's just not something I took advantage of very well. And so that would be kind of the other thing.
Shalon's biggest regrets is being isolated and not taking advantage of children. Okay. So, I definitely think that.
Like and subscribe.
I feel like you may have twisted his answer a bit, but
I mean, I was listening to what he said. He said there was children in his classroom and he failed to take advantage of them. I understand. I know what you mean. Like you didn't tailor your content towards an audience that you already had previously on your channel. Which, I think that could definitely be classed as a regret for you, for sure. Nimro, you were the asker of this question.
Yeah, I've been thinking about answer. I think my answer is mostly to do with my I think Shallon's falling off his chair again.
Yeah.
Yes, the mouse dropped. The microphone was spinning.
Did a giant just run through your house? What happened?
Oh, that was great.
Yes.
Not even at his house.
I mean, to be fair, most things are pretty giant to me. I mean,
Yeah.
for anyone watching the stream who doesn't know this, I am in real life very, very short. That is not my regret, however.
It should be.
It's just a fact. It's just I can't help it, man.
What is this? The Amazon rainforest? No, this is a few blades of grass. Like, don't stop. Okay, number what's your?
You should see me when I try to mow the lawn. It's anyway. Go ahead.
Lag monster's there mowing a lawn. He looks like one of those like Victorian explorers with like a machete cutting through forests.
You guys don't use machetes to mow your grass?
I actually have done a couple of times, but that's because I was doing some work for a guy who I think was extremely eccentric. Yeah, Nimrod. What's your regret? Lay it on us.
Okay, I think my biggest regret is like is getting into my own head too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, like maybe taking things too seriously sometimes. Like I'm not gonna lie, I freaked out a little bit about the Victorian town. Hence I've spent so much time in Copperhead Creek. Because it's just it ended up being a bit more than I actually bargained for. I did not think that through very well. And I want to do it. I'm gonna finish it. But like I totally got into my head and it freaked me out, and that hasn't helped get the content flowing again after I was really, really sick.
Yeah, because you've probably had
that's
like
my biggest regret.
One of the more challenging years over this past year of the randoms. Like, you've had a lot going on, and then a lot of other stuff. There's been times where you've been away as well, you know. I'm slightly worried because just over your shoulder I can see Shallon putting down loads of TNT on a build.
No, Shallon, that is a good building. Stop it. Cut it out. No.
It does not meet my quality control yet. I'm deciding if I want to keep it.
Just fix it. Don't restart it.
I mean, I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it, but if the fixing doesn't work...
This is not how you fix all your problems. TNT is not the answer to
be
everything.
Fair, it is how I fix. It is how I fix my problems.
I mean, he's not wrong. If he does blow it up, he will suddenly not have the problem of this build at all.
Exactly.
But it's looking like such a positive.
I'm just going to keep that world edit command of replace TNT air.
Exactly what I was busy doing.
just so every now and again I can just run it to stop him from doing that. That should be Shallon's biggest regret. It's just commitment issues.
That's true. I should have just burned it before you guys saw. Yes.
What happened to you, Shallon? Who hurt you?
I don't know. My
ladder.
Probably.
Ladder's more than likely.
That's true.
Yeah, can we talk about that actually? I am not bad at using ladders in my
house,
just for the record.
Yes,
what actually took place was I built a mob farm. That was like the first thing I built on the island. And I was going to surround it with a lighthouse. And then I learned that something to do with drop rates or something made that inefficient. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move it over to this giant pit so nobody could see it. Because believe it or not, I do believe in aesthetics when it comes to my building, my builds. And, and ladders. And so, yes, there was one day when everybody happened to be on, and I died by falling off a ladder about 45 times. What nobody knows is my mob farm was generating skeletons with arrows, and they were shooting me off the ladder.
Before you continue this, Lag, could you just come stand next to me? I think it's important. Well, Shallon's explaining this, but yeah, sorry, continue.
It's not that I'm bad at ladders, it's that I'm bad at lighting up my builds.
Yeah.
That's the reality, okay? That's all. That's all that was about.
Not actually bad at ladders, but okay. I apologize to everybody listening to my microphone. Apparently, they've decided to set off all the fireworks ever. So that just sounds like there's some sort of like war going on. Yeah.
Yep.
I felt that was an important thing for me to do.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, once you figured out the ghost armor
Entity.
thing, you did die less.
Entity.
That is true.
Said sorry to say sorry to Nim. His internet is struggling with Twitch. He also says, has Shalon tried using trampolines instead?
I don't have those in Minecraft.
No. I think.
I
think Shalon is. Yeah. I think slime blocks. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have put water at the base of that giant thing, and then I could have fallen down all I wanted to. Didn't think of that till now. But yeah, it actually, Lag did bring up a good point. Another thing that was helpful to my death count was the ghost armor that we added, the mod pack. Because I refused to run around in armor because Shalon wouldn't be seen running around in armor from the roleplay standpoint. I mean, he's an octopus. Why would he wear armor? And then we learned how to make it invisible, and that made me die significantly less as well because I no longer was running around with day one stats.
That is a fair point. I've always felt like that should just be a thing in Minecraft. Anyway, so for anybody that's not really aware, we have a resource pack on Randomcraft that's called 𝗠𝗢𝗥𝗘, which is, I think it's actually, what does 𝗠𝗢𝗥𝗘 stand for again? Oh, the wonderful, excellent, the wonderful, excellent random pack. And if you get any piece of armor and rename it to Ghost, so Ghost chestplate, Ghost leggings, it becomes invisible because we spend a lot of time working on skins and creating these characters. Like, it doesn't make sense that a scientist to be running around in like medieval looking netherite armor or whatever. So it was kind of important. And like Shalon said, an octopus running around in like diamond, he doesn't deserve to be running around in diamond. Look at him down there. But also
I don't even care for diamonds. Well, at least Shalon doesn't. It's Gerald. But anyways,
Gerald's all about the emeralds. Loves them. But yeah, so we have this thing on there that just allows us to make our armor invisible by renaming it, and it's part of the 𝗠𝗢𝗥𝗘 pack, which I may isolate that part of the ghost sets and release that as a resource pack for people to download, because I think it's a complaint that a lot of us have.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
just
quite handy.
Hiding your stuff. Yeah, just like being able to hide your armor is useful.
Does that require
they give us this
Optifine?
option.
It does. It does require Optifine until I convert it, at least, which I'll probably do at some point if another random doesn't beat me to it. Please beat me to it.
They give you this ability to make these beautiful skins and then cover it up completely.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
In not only cover it up, but let's be honest, in quite ugly looking armor a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Vanilla armor is not the prettiest thing. They say when Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel that when he got older and was starting to struggle using ladders, he swapped to trampolines. Apparently, Shalon, according to Entity. So there you go. It's probably just old age creeping in. I don't know.
This
how
isn't the first
age
time the
affects
Sistine
that
Chapel's been mentioned in the last 2 weeks. I should probably learn
I
more about
actually,
it.
yeah. There's been a surprising amount of Sistine Chapel references in this past week or so.
We may be random, but we are culture.
Yeah, in a very, very random way.
Should it be any other way?
Yeah. So one of the next questions that I feel would be useful for people to know, and again, I'll start with you, Mike, is if you were to give advice to somebody else who is going to be starting content creation, what would be your advice? Like, what would be your first or best piece of advice to give
So
someone?
my first question to them would be, do you have a social life and do you want it to continue? No, I say that, but all joking aside, there is a serious time commitment to this. Like I said earlier, it is a job in and of itself. When if you've got, like me, I work a full-time job outside of Randomcraft, it is a legitimate struggle to try and keep up with that. And I mean, you can go to my channel right now and see that I haven't uploaded in almost a month, and yeah, this will be the first thing I've had out there in a while. And part of that's just because it's getting into the holiday season. I'm busier at work, busier with family. It's just the way it is. Now, if this was my full-time job, obviously things would be easier in that respect. Although it would still require a lot of my time. I obviously would be able to put more stuff out because I'd be working only on this, but.
Yeah, and it's because it's a creative thing as well. There's no upper limit to how much time you can sink in. You can there's definitely a relatively high minimum amount of time that you should sink in, but there's no upper limit. Like you could put in every moment of every single day, and put out like either more content or more polished content.
For real.
So
and
your advice is your advice is commit time.
Well, yeah, just be prepared for it. That's all. That would be my advice. Be prepared to spend a lot of time on it if it's something you want to do. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. This is not to discourage in any way, shape, or form. It is just honest advice. Like, you will spend a lot more time than you think you will. Like, even if you're trying to give yourself a realistic idea about it, whatever you think is realistic, add to that, because it's not realistic. I'm just telling you, it's not. Whatever you think is realistic, it's not.
Yeah, I'd add a multiplier to that. Yeah, I agree. That is sound advice, 100%. Floating over to the creepy meow.
See, being old has its advantages. You get wise.
Nimro, same question. Same question to you. What advice would you give to somebody who wanted to create content?
What is this? Sorry,
What is what?
I'm interrupting.
They're your hands.
No, go ahead. What is what?
What's what?
I have the ability to go blow up my build now. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I put this over here
it.
so that if you felt the urge, you could blow it up.
Oh, you put a
Sorry.
copy?
Sorry, Nimrod, you had a much more important question. Ignore
No,
that.
it's fine. It's gonna take a while for things to start feeling and looking like you're doing a decent job of it. It's not easy to get things looking really good right off the bat. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to get it right. It's YouTube. People are gonna understand that your first videos aren't perfect. In fact, that's part of your growth, is in a few years to be able to look back and see, oh my gosh, that was so awful. And that's fine.
Yep.
I promise everybody looks at their first videos that way. That's just how it is. Hey Chuck, welcome to the chat.
I agree. That is
yeah.
probably really sound advice. That was actually, I agree. You're like, it's your first videos, or even, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's a creative thing. Like, Van Gogh was not a fan of any of his paintings. He always saw himself as a failure, and that's because most people that do something creative will not like what it is they do. You're like, it's very rare to be like super happy with what you've done. Like, you don't be put off by that, and especially like you said, in the beginnings when you're still learning. People are going to be aware of that. Just let people know. Be honest. Just be like, yeah, guys, I'm still learning, figuring this out. Stick with me.
I mean, so long as people can hear what you're saying and you get you get your thing out there, that's enough for your first one. It really is.
Yeah.
Quality comes with practice, and believe me, if you want your stuff to be quality right off the bat, you're never going to get it out there because it's just it'll take you forever to get satisfied with top quality before you get it out.
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
have
agree.
to agree 100%.
Yeah.
And I think just to add to what you're saying, Nim, like, get started. You know, don't expect it. Like, if you want to do it, just get started. Get started. Do it.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Yeah, and yeah, in fact, I will add to that. So quite a few people that have watched my streams will be aware that I've played Minecraft for a long, long time. I actually have a video that is private on YouTube. I think a couple of the randoms have seen it. I know that it was a video that I sent you like back before we even started Randomcraft when you were asking me about roofs on Ironclad. I made a video, a time-lapse video of making an elven house back in early 2012 and never released it because I didn't think it was good enough. Looking at other builds and other things that were released at that time, it was more than good enough. But at the time, I was unhappy and I was talked out of releasing it. 90% of which by myself. A couple of other people were like, oh, this may be a little bit too loud. Like, maybe the music's a bit too loud. Maybe you should have spoke a little bit, you know, and I just didn't put it out. So, you know, my YouTube career could have started almost 10 years before it did, had it not been for me being put off by myself.
And imagine where you might be now.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is sound advice, Nim. 100%. Thank you. Shallow.
Can I
yes.
add to that a little bit?
My turn?
Yeah, absolutely.
My turn?
I can see you over there still.
Welcome. We're just busy working in the shopping district for all those who are new tuning. We're working in the shopping district. We're on a creative service that we can all join in because some of us have had some issues with things running on the actual Randomcraft server. So we're all doing that here to celebrate birthday and to kind of work on the shopping district and get it looking good. And we're currently asking questions. So if you have any in chat, you know, post them in chat and we'll keep a look up. And back to you, Enigma.
Well, just briefly, apparently Entity says, tell Lagmonster he has no game sounds on his stream. I think he is ignoring YouTube chat. Alright, cool, you got it.
I'm not ignoring it. I just focused on my build, and then I looked over and saw that I had chat. And I you know, this happens all the time on stream. I think it's the delay.
Yeah.
My upload speed is atrocious, and therefore there's probably a good 60 to 90 seconds between that thing being posted and there's a delay.
Yeah, but I mean, also Entity's had some issues over the past when he was watching Nimrod's stream of just like the latency his end as well, meaning he lags further and further behind. Because this is what I'm like, everyone. I will pay attention. Even if I'm not playing, I will still pay attention. I will learn your names, and I will try and give credence to things that are going on. Shalon, what would be what would be your advice to somebody? I'm scared of you answering this, but yes,
I have 3 things. The first one, and this has worked really well for me, and it is kind of one of those buzzwords in the study skill community. It's the Pomodoro. Okay. Which, if you're familiar with the idea, you basically set a timer for about 25 minutes, you work on that thing for 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. And then you just repeat that over and over and over. For me, that helps me to focus, like, really well, honestly. Like, it also breaks up the monotony. Like, I've been working on this build, you know, for a couple hours at this point, and there's things I like about it, things I don't. For me, it forces me to take a break from what I'm working on, and then come back to it, return, and then I might figure out why I don't like it, or maybe something grows on me. Yeah. So the way I usually implement this.
Well, if you sit at your desk too long, things will grow on you.
Yeah, I think I do this, but by mistake due to my crippling tea addiction.
Yeah,
where I have to take a break every 25 minutes to just go make another tea.
Yep. So the way I've implemented this, and people pointed this out to me. I think it might have been lag, but I'll play Minecraft for about 25 minutes, and then I will go and do my laundry, wash my dishes for about 5 minutes, and then I come back and play Minecraft for about a half hour. And then I go and like, get dressed for the day for 5 minutes. By the end of the day, you get a ton of Minecraft time while still getting your responsibilities done so you don't feel like a total slob. It's great.
Yeah.
Some people have pointed out maybe that's reverse. Maybe you're supposed to go and like do real life things for 25 minutes and then play like Minecraft for 5. But it's about content. Anyways,
yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing, which I have not done, I have all intention of doing, but have not done, is to try and get like 2 weeks ahead. Get your videos done and edited. Like when you start, like instead of rushing and getting that first video out, maybe take a month or however, people are probably more productive than I am. Take however long it's going to take you to get 2 or 3 videos done, get them scheduled. And that for me, that would be great because that just completely eliminates the stress of I have to have this video done by Friday. I don't do it. I have all intentions of doing it, but I haven't done it.
Can I disagree with you for one thing on that?
I'm going to say no. No, you can't. It's my time. My time. Anyway. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, here's my only thing. You're really not doing anything when you do that. Like you feel like you're ahead, yes, but you still have your deadline because in order to stay 2 weeks ahead, you still have to work 2 weeks ahead. So your Friday deadline may not be your upload deadline now, but it's still your deadline to have the video you'll release 2 weeks from now done. And if you don't, you end up backlogged. Now your buffer is gone.
Well, yeah. With that though, like the goal is though, you don't allow that to. I mean, if you got to take an extra day or two to like polish something, that allows for you to do that without you missing that upload downline. But yeah, if you get your 2 weeks ahead and then do absolutely nothing, well, then yeah, you've defeated your purpose.
Yeah, it's like it's an emergency buffer. I think one of the there was a couple of shows, and I think it's something me and you have discussed before, Shalon. Like some shows in the States will do a thing where they do a thing. I believe it's called working on 5s, working on 6s. So that it's a daily show, so it's like Monday to Friday as like I say a sitcom. So they'll do that, and then rather than having a full weekend for about 3 months of the year, they will do 6 days a week, and they'll record another thing on that 6th day that won't be released, so that they've got like a stockpile for the end of the year, so they could take like the last quarter of the year off rather than taking 1 day for those 3 months. They'll just have it where they can get the Christmas episodes done and everything like that. And that's often why you'll see like Christmas episodes of things not even look Christmassy. Like they'll be like, yeah, it's Christmas, and it's like blaring sun outside. Everyone's walking around in t-shirts because they've done that sort of method where they've just recorded it previously so they can take Christmas off. So it can be beneficial, but you have to stay on top of it still.
It's also a little problematic for us because we don't script any of our stuff.
Yeah.
Everything is sort of as it happens, which means if we have everything pre-done, it also means we probably haven't got any interaction happening, which is a little iffy. I mean, we all want to see interaction with the other randoms, don't we?
Yeah, it for definite. Like it's not something that necessarily works for Randomcraft, but for the general content creator, if you're making like tutorials or something, yeah, definitely. Like if you're doing like builds or something, getting a little bit ahead, so you've got a little bit of buffer. So if you do get ill, you can still keep that weekly upload schedule or bi-weekly upload schedule. It could be extremely useful.
I'm moving away from this cat now because I think I'm just gonna muck it up if I keep tampering.
Yep. And
now I have to go look at it.
My last tip. This one's the moneymaker, and I 100% stole it from Enigma, but it made complete sense when he said
I like
it.
it.
Okay.
Okay. What is it?
The big one. I mean, I kind of added onto it, but his tip was flat out like it needs to be fun, and like I know early on, like I tried to maintain a certain persona. I tried to I was doing a lot of things that just were not fun to me, and I think that's what. And by doing what's fun, exactly. But by doing what's
Sorry,
fun though, it allows you to actually bring out you as a creator. I mean, I can go look up people making Minecraft videos, and outside of the big names, a lot of times to me it feels very stale because people are trying to duplicate what they see someone else do. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes they're not as good at whatever they're trying to demonstrate by copying someone. Sometimes they actually are better, but they don't embrace it, and they lose them behind it. And you know, if I'm gonna go watch a cookie cutter famous YouTuber, I might as well just go watch insert famous YouTuber here instead. I mean, and so by making sure that you're having fun, it lets you bring out that aspect of you and your personality, and you know, and that's what makes people want to watch you, and why you probably choose to watch a particular YouTuber over another one.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no, it's it's the thing that I've spoken about, I think, actually in a video once. Just like, yes, Dream is a talented Minecrafter. Like, even if you don't like him, you have to admit that the guy is talented. But that doesn't mean that you need to be going wearing a Dream skin, doing Dream-like content. You can make your own content. Like, do something that is you. Don't get lost in the idea of being somebody else.
Right. Exactly.
And if you are going to get lost into being somebody else, at least create that somebody else yourself. Okay, so, there were good answers.
On that, lag, is your Streamlabs, you're still using Streamlabs, right? You haven't changed to OBS. I mean, it would still do the same. It is showing that your desktop group share. I'll try that again. It is showing that your desktop audio is going through, right?
Yeah, like, Ent's been telling me in my chat that I wasn't getting game audio through. And my volume was a little low in the game itself, so I turned that up. Which
the voice chats shouldn't be. It should be as loud as you hear it, so that shouldn't.
I'm guessing voice chat's coming through?
No, he says the voice chat wasn't going through either.
Oh.
That's why I wanted to see if your OBS was picking it up.
We have some technical difficulties.
When you guys talk, I get levels that show up here. You know what? I think I might know what the issue. It might be a mixer.
Is it multi-track? Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. For some reason, when you're streaming, you have to have all the tracks set into one. It just doesn't. It doesn't like it otherwise.
How about that?
Well, we can only hope and pray.
Well, yeah, that's gonna be weird if anybody ever actually watches this. They're gonna hear me answering questions.
I spent the first half hour of one of my streams last week completely silent. I was talking to myself, but nobody could hear it because the mic was off. I forgot to
talk to myself all the time. It's
fine. But no one was
that
even
you
listening.
do.
It was so sad.
I think as far as my advice to anybody wanting to create YouTube content would be is have something to say. Don't just make content for content's sake. Like, actually want to do something, because that's kind of key. Like, there's no point in putting something out that doesn't even interest you. Like, if you wouldn't watch your own content, why the hell should somebody else? Like, you should at least enjoy it. Like, do something that interests you.
Oh, for sure.
That's probably my biggest, because I see that a lot, not just in Minecraft, but with streamers in general who will jump to stream the most popular game and they have no interest in it at all, and you can see they're not even enjoying their time on it, but they're streaming it because it's popular. Sometimes that isn't the best way to go. Like, I want to watch somebody that is enjoying what they're doing. And I think that's it kind of comes a little bit off of what Shalom was saying, like, it should be fun. But having something that you're wanting to say or wanting to show is better than just making a video that does nothing. Because it just won't get any traction, it won't get anybody interested. Because if you can't watch it, nobody else is gonna.
All I know is Enigma is now dropping knowledge bombs that totally justifies me blowing up my building. If I want to. Enigma 2021.
I mean...
Oh, I'll add a caveat to that. If you're wanting to do something that you think it's fun, yes, just unless you're an octopus, in which case you shouldn't.
There we go. Problem solved.
Unless it involves TNT. Oh,
I know I'm kind of flying around randomly here, and I finished the balloon, but it's also 1:30 in the morning, so I don't feel like I can start another one.
well, if you have a question you can put forward, you could put a question forward.
I'll say if you want, you can throw some builderness on this airship thing.
I'm liking the shape. The shape. You know what the shape's reminding me of? Did you watch Treasure Planet?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The idea behind this is very heavily inspired by that. Like the idea in my head.
I enjoyed. I mean, I know it's a controversial one, but I really enjoyed that movie.
So like, yeah, this is like the main body of the ship, and then like, I want to have like one big balloon kind of in the middle here, and then a couple smaller ones off to the side of it.
Ooh, I like that idea.
And then down here, I want to have like some big like crazy fins and stuff. Because you remember in that movie, like, I don't know, maybe they were solar sails or whatever you want to call them.
They used solar sails.
Yeah, you'd like, and sometimes when they took off, the sails would flex out, and then they'd kind of shoot off into the cosmos. Yeah, that idea.
I was actually just thinking, would anybody have a problem if we altered it and we just had elemental magic? Now that certain things are no longer a magical problem, do you think 𝗘𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗚 would have a heart attack if I made an elemental airship?
Yes.
I mean,
then we should totally do it 100%, no question asked.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Right,
Keep
we're
seeing
making an
Shelly's
elemental
build.
airship,
That's
guys.
somewhat
That's our next
inspired by a
stream.
Lego. So, Shelly, is this inspired by
Thanks.
any Lego fishing village or anything?
No.
He sounded so disappointed.
And had a question. Keep seeing Shelly's build. Is that somewhat inspired by a Lego Ideas fishing village?
No, it is not.
Are you sure that? I mean, you like your Legos. Maybe you're unintentionally grabbing Lego-y.
No, I'm trying to bring the rounded top of the actual like only build I've ever been proud of in my life, but I'm actually not that proud of it. But that one over there, I wanted to keep the little rounded jutting thing. Okay, I'll tell you what's really going on here. I have realized.
Tell us what's really going on here.
That all of my builds are very boxy and have this appearance of like you can see the grid that I used to make them. And so I am trying, as painful as it is, to break away from symmetry and lining things up and all that. Like that's really what I'm trying to break symmetry. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Okay, fair enough.
And yeah, and you can see where I kind of know what I'm doing, and then other aspects where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, can we?
Well, I mean, I can. Yes, but
okay,
I have
you're trying for a rounded roof?
I don't know what I'm doing. That's what's really going on here. I am just trying to make something that I don't want to blow up. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
And
Yeah,
Enigma, actually,
Actually, that is true because there was some stuff I did want to blow up, and Enigma blew it up for me, so that was nice. I appreciate that.
What I'm here for, man.
Sorry,
what were you gonna ask, mate?
I actually do have a question for you because it's something I myself am curious about, and I'm sure your audience and other people's audiences what I noticed as
What's
well.
under the
Where,
box?
no, what essentially, yeah. What inspired it? What started the 𝗤𝗔𝗓𝗏 How did that all come about? Where did this character begin in your mind, and how did it get there to where it is today?
So, one of the things that I spoke about in one of my videos is that you should endeavor to create a character that is a large percentage you, right? Like it should be almost like a caricature of you.
Right.
Again, it's gonna start getting dark. I'll swing it back around. I apologize. There was a period of my life where I was suffering from depression. I didn't want people to see me, but I also owned an esports organization, and I kind of got to know everybody, but nobody knew who I was. And the name 𝗤𝗏𝗏 came around from that. And then there was times where it was important for me to stream. This is before Twitch was even Twitch. It was on owned TV, which I don't even think is a thing. Back then, Twitch was called Justin TV. And I would stream with a paper bag on my head so that I couldn't be seen. And I had a smiley face on the one side, and on the other side of the bag was a sad face. Sad face.
Like,
and I would
like
switch it around.
the mayor from
Marshmallow.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of the mayor from
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare
Yeah,
Before
that
Christmas,
was the inspiration for being able to sort of at least be able to express two emotions. And I was always a huge fan of cryptography, so I enjoy doing ciphers and breaking ciphers and stuff. So within Exodus, which was the old esports organization that I co-owned, everyone, because it wasn't like the name I used, wasn't the tag that I used, everyone just started referring to me as theENiGMA, because I knew everything about them. And because I have LLI, I have this thing of wanting to learn things, so I tend to be able to answer things on subjects that are just really random, subjects. So I ended up being called theENiGMA. And then that, coupled with the paper bag, then eventually just gave way to my skin having a box head as opposed to a bag. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. As far as the sciencey side goes, that's just... that stems from... I used to play a lot with Timesoft. And we were always very tech-focused when we played on stuff. And we started a server, again, like this is 2012, called 𝗤𝗓𝗓, which was like an MMO-style Minecraft server, and it was very fantasy-based. And I put so much fantasy effort into that after that, I was just done with fantasy. I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm going to do something that's more like just different than this. So I ended up doing sci-fi and stuff. So the scientist just made sense for that. So yeah, that's it. Pretty straightforward.
I like it.
Basically, just born from my own neuroses.
I guess similar question for the other two. Nim, what inspired the Nim? The skin, the character, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
It's actually not that far off from my skin is almost a lot like my character, except that the fringe is mirrored. So it looks a lot like me, except mirrored. Even like I think we all know that this isn't my main outfit for my skin. My main outfit is a hoodie and like tights, which is also one of my favorite outfits. So it doesn't go that. Shannon, are you TNTing my cat? Go away. So yeah, it's not that.
He needs to hold it in his tail. He needs to have one in his tail.
Okay, go put it back. So yeah, that's where the skin came from anyway. Yeah, the fringe, it's sort of bangs. It's like, it's not really bangs entity. It's sort of like just a long fringe that goes to the side. yeah, the character itself, it's just sort of evolved.
Well, you know, like when you first started, I always thought of Nim as like this adventurer who the Shallon in my engine. I always thought of her as like this adventurer, but over time she's become this mischievous prankster.
Instead. Yeah, that part kind of. I mean, what does an adventurer do when they're stuck in one place? You know, they cause like problems.
No adventure?
Yeah.
Create your own.
Create your own, indeed.
It's kind of boring here. Time to cause some havoc. Wait a minute. And you own the newspapers. I get it now.
Yeah,
there's no news.
Make
news.
stories.
Actually, I do not own the newspapers. Tim and Tom own the newspapers.
That was
semantics.
That was a proper sort of like. I think you'll find.
Actually,
Merle has nothing to do with that. She's just a occasional journalist and a pretty bad one at that.
Okay. So what you're saying is Tim and Tom pay her to make news stories to keep them in business.
I mean, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Although in fairness, I think most of the news lately will have been caused by you guys.
No. What?
Really
No.
Good.
No. Come on. Nothing. Didn't do anything.
Oh, they should be
just a little. It's a little.
Just a little accident here and there. Just a little.
Yeah, it's a little bit of trans-dimensional travel. It's fine.
You know, I didn't want the TNT, but I really love the fact that he's holding the TNT. That is, I think this is my hot air balloon officially. This is my ride from now on. This is a very nimble ride.
Nobody died from that whole experience. Everyone, most of us made it back.
Well, most of us.
Yeah.
I call that a win.
I mean, sure, yeah.
See, the secret is you just gotta have. So, like, most people's standards are like right about here, right? Right.
Yeah,
so,
and you want me to lower him way down?
So if you put them, if you put them like right about, hold on, if you put them right about, we put it right about there.
Whoa. I don't know where you are. I've lost you in the dark of the underworld.
right about. If you look at chat for a moment, right about there.
I see.
You'll find very easy to impress yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just very easy. To meet your goals. Yeah. What is this? What you doing?
Aw, and you don't like the cat's tail? I like the cat's tail.
I'm putting in some new lamps. I know I wasn't able to finish Deadheads or anything on episodes because computer related issues, so
yeah,
I figured whilst I was here I would at least get the top floor sort of organized. I didn't even remember doing the top floor until I started like looking at bringing it over to the creative server. And I was like, oh yeah, I was doing that before everything went a bit awry. There we go. The upstairs is supposed to be for the map art, and the lower floor is supposed to be for the head.
I see. It looks like Magic's starting to work on something over there. Maybe have a proper shop.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
No.
Oh, I was like, what are you doing?
I was just framing it again. I put a grid at the back because I think something like this would have a grid at the back.
I agree. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of want like a smaller engine off to the side here.
And down a little bit.
Yeah, it should be a little lower. You're right.
Oh, some based in.
A vertical version of
So what about you, Shelly? What brought about the Octo Boy?
Oh, Ent suggests that we try and make the glass. Sorry. Like the endless glass. If we put that in the engine instead of like redstone.
Oh, I like that idea.
Okay. Now tell us
give it a
everything,
shot.
Shalyn.
So as a character, Shalyn came about by delusion. And
I figured it was something like that. Actually, you can stop there.
No.
I understand now.
Actually, what? Actually, as far as the octopus choice, what actually happened is originally the channel was going to be me doing DIY cosplay, prop making, all that kind of stuff. Which it will split off into that at some point. Like that hasn't gone away. I just haven't decided to actually do that yet. But what happened is I got on Fiverr because I am not very good at art because I have spent no time whatsoever trying to get good at it. And I ended up commissioning my logo, which is that octopus, that robotic cybernetic octopus holding a drill and an Arduino and a flask and just like all kinds of just like science and tech stuff. Because I just thought that would be cool to have for a logo for a DIY channel. And then I started playing Minecraft, and I actually ran around with a zombie skin, which got me killed on SMPs a lot. Because they just, oh, zombie, shoot it with the bow. And then they, figured out it was me. I did that for a bit, and then I decided, okay, I want a unique skin for myself. Thought I'd treat myself to it. So I had the Shalyn skin commissioned from that logo that I have. And there we go. That's why I'm a purple octopus. And why the eyes are on the side of my head. And then when I came into Randomcraft, from a roleplay standpoint, I'm just like, yeah, I'll be an octopus. That's fun. That's not normal. So it's great.
Well, to be fair, you are not normal.
I'd like to think at some point I was. Maybe in like episode 1. Maybe episode 2, but it goes downhill. It goes downhill about the time my computer crashed on me for like 3 months.
Survey says, was Shalyn ever normal?
Yeah, it's debatable.
Who wants to?
To be fair, I don't think anybody here in Randomcraft fits that.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. The thing is, it's a bit rich coming from any of us.
Real.
I think that's what makes.
Am I doing this right?
It's
light, layer, glass, air, glass,
yeah.
Right?
Yes. But you need like 12 layers to get like
minimum of 9, so 18 blocks length. Minimum. 9 is the minimum you can go with.
I mean, it's fine. It's not like I intend on this to be a shop or anything. It's just for the looks.
Looks are everything.
Do you wanna bring it back to the point where like you're gonna have to go back to like here to get the good glass effect. But that's okay.
What about you, Mr. Lag? What about your character?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to talk about me.
Oh, finally, me, my favorite subject.
What inspired the Lag Monster? Well, there's a bunch of things that inspired the Lag Monster. The Lag Monster.
I can share an anecdote of some of that. To be fair,
go ahead.
So, Lag Monster never used to be called Lag Monster. He used to be called Rocky. And not long after I became a moderator for Ironclad, this guy created the most lag that I think 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗖𝗞's ever had and completely broke the servers with an absolutely terrible machine.
I would love to say that it
known
was
as the
like
lag monster.
I would love to say that it was
my...
created through some like amazingness, but no.
You know?
It was just a terrible XP machine that I neglected to think about the fact that it basically produced the Minecraft equivalent of industrial waste. And I think at one point when Pixels fixed it, he said I had around 16,000 items laying around in the water around my base.
Oh my... No wonder I couldn't play. Like, at this point, I'm living in China. My internet is even worse than it currently is, which is, you could say, is like pretty bad. I mean, I was just barely connecting to the server, and it would be great. I'd be playing, and you'd log on, and that was it. I was like toast. I couldn't play again. It's like,
Sorry.
And this just totally explains why so well.
Yeah, the name I can at least give some information on, but what inspired the rest of it? Because you play like a useless sorcerer and all of that.
So
like...
I guess a lot of the sorcerer angle is I do prefer. I like sci-fi. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more of a fantasy kind of guy. Anybody who would know me or anybody watching my stream right now with my anime-esque avatar would know I'm just like a total weeb. I love anime. I love fantasy stuff. It's just super cool to me, and it's so he's an amalgamation of a lot of things, including some of my personality. I do tend to self-defamate a lot when I'm trying to be funny. It's just kind of my shtick, whatever. And it also said that he kind of looks like a monster. That was sort of inspired by the name, but also inspired by the fact that it's kind of me. Like I like the what's what I'm looking for here. I guess I have a dark sense of humor. I have like I more gravitate toward that kind of stuff. Like I just think there's something funny to me about evil stuff and stuff perceived that way, like to me the idea of a useless sorcerer who kind of looks like a demon but is actually just like a really chill nice guy.
Yeah.
Who is also kind of a reckless idiot. Like I don't know, it's just the whole thing is funny to me, and it's not too far off from my own personality. I am a bit of a thrill seeker. I love roller coasters. I want to go skydiving. So to even say that I'm not potentially reckless is, yeah. For someone of my age, I probably ought to slow the. Yes. Almost
luckily,
slipped on that one.
Luckily, we didn't need to put in some sort of bleep there. See, reckless,
yeah,
he's just proving it.
Subtly reminded me to remind you of the name Disco Lion and that you have a very nice white suit.
Yes.
White suit, and I want to see it.
You want to see the disco? I can do this. Yeah. Hold on.
I never liked that lion. I think I actually said that to you at some point in game. Which is, it looks creepy.
I have a vague feeling I've seen this lion once, maybe?
Let's hope he remembers to join the simple voice chat group.
There
Oh,
we
there he
go.
goes.
Oh, I
Yes.
remember this outfit! I
Yes.
forgot about those.
This was a business lion outfit, but then it evolved into disco lion.
That's great. It is a really creepy lion face.
Yeah. You know those like
Yep,
old?
yep.
Have you ever seen those like old photos of like the Victorian era where there's like a kid and then just the creepiest stuffed animal? That's what that skin reminds me of. Just like the really like old creepy photos of children with really disturbing looking soft toys.
Hold on, I have to take care of something.
That works too. At least I'm
That
out.
worked.
At least I'm no longer trapped. There is like 20,000 beautiful looking pirate ships and airships over here. I forgot this is where I spawn when I die.
Oh, over. Yeah, I might put a couple of those ships in the water over here. At the moment, I'm just terraforming a little bit because
I don't think I've seen like any of these in forever. These are good. Fantastic. Now I gotta.
I will make tutorials for all of these things. Just at some point, promise. Right, let's go in on all of these blocks. That's a slightly nicer angle, but I may just remove that this layer. I think I might remove this layer. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
That is a very good description of that outfit. Says you
Oh, I
look
do
like
like
it came
this.
from the film Cats, but Rebel Wilson's Cats.
Yes.
Yeah, the bad version. Yeah, 100%.
I haven't heard that description of this skin in a while. Oh. I will be right back, guys. Hello. I saw your text right before you pulled up because I heard the car pull up. Go.
I think that
Okay.
pretty good.
What's that?
Yes, lag monster exposed.
No, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
it like right
Let's hope
when
he
I
doesn't
heard the
swear.
car pull up.
I think Nimrod just muted him earlier, which is a simple solution. For
My
those of you
bad,
live
guys.
streaming.
I did not mute my mic.
Not even a little.
No, not even at all. Whatsoever. Just left it open. There you go, everyone. There's a little insight into.
No,
the
to be
world
fair,
you're
I
like.
muted everything else and I forgot to mute the mic because I'm good like that.
Yeah. There we go. Engine
Hi.
particles.
Also, pizza's here.
Kind of like some pizza. Does you want to chat?
That sounds wonderful.
Chat with the Enigma? So Nim, I have a question.
Yes.
This is going. I'll ask everybody, but I'll start with you, seeing as lag is stepped away. What would be if you could add something into Randomcraft, like whether it was like if I think of it this way, season 2 starts. What would you like to see? Like what would you like to have like as some form of an addition, whether that's a rule to the server or like what would you like to see put in?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Can I have a moment to think about this?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
I'll ask Shalon. He very rarely needs time to think.
That is true. I would love to see, and I don't know if this is necessarily Randomcraft, but just in general, and I don't know if I would like it for a long time, but I really enjoyed playing RTSs, and I would love for the ability to have villagers either be able to gather resources for you, or give them the ability to form armies and go to war with each other, because I want to see Gerald take on the world. I think that needs to happen. But, so if you could breed your villagers and then like give them combat gear and have them go fight each other and destroy blocks, something tells me that would be fun.
So you're
but also very involved.
Your perfect
perspective.
Your perfect thing would be like almost like I guess like almost like Civ or Age of Empires, where each random has their own empire of villagers. Is that what you're saying? Like each random has their own empire?
Okay.
Goes to war.
This is gonna go down Shalon mod pack stream here. I would love the ability where you could get the opportunity to basically do modular buildings where you're like, okay, I want to build a farm. Anytime I just build a farm, this is what it will look like because I've designed it, and then it goes in. And I want to build a barracks, and then you kind of like just light Matica and modular stuff, but you have that. And then you have the ability to have the villagers fight. You know, you can give them equipment and let them go fight. Outside of that, I think another thing that would be really beneficial to have is the ability to expand villager offerings. Like being like having a real reason to gather materials to sell to villagers besides, you know, just zombifying them and then getting your gold, your diamond tools. Like that is one thing I do like about Stardew Valley that you don't have with the Minecraft villager system is you can go to the store and sell your crops in Stardew Valley and get something in return that you can then go do other stuff with. We can do that, you know, as players, but then we do hit the point where, okay, we just bought out all of the sand. I still need way more sand. There we go. And we're also restricted to diamonds because that seems to be our unit of currency. And so, yeah, I'm just rambling. I don't know.
No,
Maybe I should have thought before I.
I like I do like the idea though. I like the idea of having like a season where there's, you know, the Empire of Shalon, the Empire of Enigma, the Empire of Nimrod and stuff, and we're essentially at war with each other. I kind of like that. Where we've got like villagers and stuff. I think that would be fun. I don't know how the hell we'd do it, but it would be fun.
So Enigma says you're basically asking for slaves? I mean,
no, you'd have to pay them. You'd have to pay them in emeralds.
Yeah, they'd be serfs. Is what they'd be. There's a difference between a serf and a slave. Serfs do get paid, but they tend to your land, and you have the final say. Slaves, they just do as they're told, or you know, have their hands chopped off. Very different things. But I do like that idea though. Like if we could implement that even for a mini series, I think that would be a ton of fun. Having it where it's like empire based.
Yeah, I think doing a mini series would make sense in the whole aspect of you could go to war and actually essentially eliminate someone from the game.
Yeah,
like obviously we wouldn't want to do that right away. You know, give everybody a chance to actually build up and stuff.
Yeah, it could be like a feudal style thing, you know, akin to things like Third Life and Super Hardcore and stuff. Like, if for example you overthrew my kingdom, I would end up essentially being a second in command to you. So we end up being together, and then there's an old game. I don't know if there's like other versions elsewhere. But there's an old like field game that kids would play in the UK called British Bulldog, where like it would be like one person stood in the center of a field, and then loads of people would be stood at the one side, and the idea is that you've got to run from one side to the other side, and that person's got to try and tackle you to the floor. When they tackle you to the floor, you're then part of that bulldog, and then you work with them to tackle other people to the floor. And sort of like that sort of thing. So like if you overthrew me, I would essentially be your assistant and help your kingdom from then on. Just move this.
That is essentially the Ewok mode in Star Wars Battlefront 2. One person starts as an Ewok, and if you kill the Stormtrooper, they turn into an Ewok, and you have to survive for like, I don't know, I watched my brother play it, but it's you got to survive for like 5 to 10 minutes as the Stormtroopers, and if you do, you win. If the Ewoks kill all the Stormtroopers, then the Ewoks win. Well, actually, the British version sounds much more intense and much more damaging.
Yeah. It's very rugby-esque.
We used to play Red Rover, which is a little small ending like that.
Yeah, I vaguely think you and I, Nim, have had this conversation before about field games, of all things.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, Villager Fight Club, where the first rule of Randomcraft is don't talk about Villager Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% should
comment.
make an underground Gerald fighting ring in my villager town.
Yes, you do like Ewoks.
No, Gerald's peaceful. I don't know. I haven't decided if Gerald's peaceful yet.
No?
Sure. I mean, he's living the farmer life at the moment. He's been around long enough.
So, Nim, have you had some time to think? that sounds like a
change in currency. But I think
changing
we're already
currency.
moving towards that. Yeah, like the game's changed, right? Diamonds are not the most important thing anymore, nor are they the rarest. Not that they really ever will be absolute rarest.
Yeah.
The hardest to replace in rarity. So, like a change in currency would probably be good, I suppose. I don't know.
You were very committed to that up to about halfway through, and then you just sort of, nah, actually, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe closer proximity. I've loved the way Copperhead Creek has worked because we've been, like, forced to hang out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We could not avoid each other if we tried.
That is something, in fact, I'll share it with those who are actually tuned in on the stream. That is something that me and Lag Monster have discussed, is that for the next season there'll be some rules put in place that people are closer but also won't be able to select their biomes or anything like that pre-season. Like, there won't be like, oh, well, I fancy being in this biome or anything. We would just start and try and stick relatively close together. Because, like, me and like discussed this, like, I'm in between him and Peanut, and like Peanut and I are like, you can see each other's bases from one another, so like we're really close, and it was really good for like the early days as well, because like pre-Elytra and stuff and Netherhub, getting to your base was it wasn't feasible for me. It's just so far away. But Peanut and Lag, yeah, they got multiple visits off of me. So I that's something that we have discussed going forward into season 2. We have some little things up our sleeves for season 2. So that's probably something that you will probably see, is that one. Because I think we've all enjoyed Copperhead Creek.
Yeah, really loved the time there. In fact, the fact that I was able to avoid the Victorian town.
I think that's why, because like, it was only supposed to be like a couple of episodes would be spent there, and it, that was supposed to be it, and obviously that that changed pretty rapidly, and it grew into a much larger scoped thing than I'd initially intended it to be. Originally, the idea was, at least narratively for me, is Enigma gets told about, this sector, and goes there, and then the mysterious merchant is essentially wanting to become the mayor and wants a little village founded there, and then the village gets made, and then each random is sort of like invited, if you will, to come and make their own version of a villager house to live in, whilst they're farming materials from the 117 update. That was the initial idea.
You may have gone a little overboard.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But yeah, that was a thing that occurred. But I think it's because everybody just really liked over there. So I think that's one of the reasons that we were looking, like, season 2, just you using that knowledge and working from there. Why am I not using my one for this?
What is a bow spit? I get what a bow is, but what's a spit? Oh, wait. Mast or that pike that comes out front? See, now you're just saying more boat words I don't understand though, and I wish I did know what that was. I really do. I don't even know how to say it. Okay, pike out the front. I feel like I've read that in a book somewhere, and in the book I realized what it was, but it's been a very long time and I haven't used that. So, okay. I would say yes, except I don't know where... I don't have Lag's vision of his ship just yet, so I'm not sure where it goes up to, because, a ship is very seldom just one flat at the top. It probably curves upwards here. I'm not entirely sure where that curve is going to sit, so putting in the pike is a little bit hard. Yeah, this bit. I think I am actually kind of finished with what I can do, and it is 2 AM. This means I should probably call it a night.
No, they live forever. And all Enigma can do is ask me questions, and who knows where that's gonna go.
Yeah.
Head down that way, but probably wouldn't end well.
Yeah, this bit definitely needs pulling out though.
Okay.
I think what we'll do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Out here. Slash okay.
And with that,
20.
I am gonna say thank you to you guys, because talking with you guys has been Enigma and Shalyn and Lag, because I think he might be listening even if he's not talking. So thank you guys very much. It's been awesome.
Well, it's always good to do a little bit of collaborative stream stuff.
We do not do it nearly.
No, I think that would be something else we try and change going forwards. I think at some point.
Yeah. Okay, and then also to everyone else, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you to everyone listening on everybody else's streams. It's been an awesome time. Had an absolute blast, and I will see you all soon. Okay,
have a nice night, then.
bye, everybody.
Bye, Nim. Roll.
I don't know. Maybe I'll I'm not going to bring over any airships or anything like that, because, like, Lag's working on an airship. I could bring the Nautilus over. The large galleon. That'd be a hell of a, like, that was a pain to build. So don't know, building it again. Yeah, I don't know about that. Small little boats. I'll have to, I'll figure that out. I think I might bring a... The idea of Skull Cove was to eventually put some, like, a ship in the water, like a big pirate ship. And I think I might bring the EMS Nautilus, maybe change some of the colorings on it and stuff, but a similar thing to the EMS Nautilus over to... But I'll do that actually on the server. I think...
Oh, you came over.
Yeah. Look at...
I'm trying to decide if I want to move the spruce planks on the bottom to the middle level, and then replace that with stone on bottom. So you go stone, spruce, and just a little bit of accent of green. I think it's okay as is. I just need to...
Well, you're still, yeah. What's this?
Shape-wise, I'm okay with everything shape-wise. Detail-wise, I'm not super happy with windows, doors.
Yeah.
I'm in the stare at it and try and figure something out phase.
It's a dye shop, right? That one.
I don't... Well, it
That's
will
what it
have
was.
the dyes in it, but I'm going to expand it out to also include things that villagers sell. Because this is now Gerald's shop. He's going to remove the old dye shop and build this instead.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense.
Yep. I actually did not plan on building this for as long as I have. I thought this was going to be, just a quick hour and a half build. And
Hey, Lord Valorn. Welcome to the stream. I've been instructed by Nemo to come and hassle you. You can hassle me, Entity. It's not even a hassle. It's perfectly fine. I may end up just completely redeveloping Deadhead. I don't know, it depends. I think we're doing this stream tomorrow as well, I think?
Durple was saying, I think, something about him coming back and doing it. So, yeah. I mean, originally my plan was build this really quick and then start going through and adding, like, lamp posts or wells, like things to fluff up the general area. But trying to make this look decent has taken...
I haven't tried building a modern yacht or anything like that. I've kind of bypassed the modern era. Like, I did a bunch of sort of like older medieval stuff that's over at my little build section on here, which I'm going to do. I will do some tutorials on, but I've been working. I sort of did medieval and then just jumped back to doing sci-fi. I just sort of took that and then went. I suppose I did steampunk in between. So it went medieval, some steampunk, sci-fi, which I think is a natural progression. So I've not done any modern looking builds. Postmodern. I've done postmodern with sci-fi. But maybe I should try doing some yachts and stuff. But like I only really started doing boats by mistake, and to be honest, it was more a case that I needed to make some ships, so I just sort of learned to do them because I wanted to put some in, and then from there I just started making the airship. So this one up here, this is called the 𝗘𝗚𝗥𝗘. This I'm working on a tutorial to build this. It's a long build though, like it's a block for block build that I've been working on, and there's a lot of blocks, so But I am working on it, I promise. Just for those people that had requested it a bunch on Reddit and stuff that subscribe to it, I have been working on it. It's just with my computer problems, it's been a bit of a challenge, but I will get it done. I'm not entirely sure what this is about. There's no. Oh, this was me coming up with different well designs. Yeah, that may end up being another video. So this is just my playground. Not what we're really here for, but yeah, this is my little... Mostly it's ships. And also I was teaching 𝗟𝗛 how to do some building stuff. Oh, there's a couple of sci-fi looking bits. Excuse me, sir. Your head appears to be on back to front. 𝗟𝗛, put your head the right way around.
Oh, are you over by me?
Oh, that's
Hi.
better. That's better.
I was looking at references because you kind of disappeared. So I was like, oh, because I was gonna be like, okay, Mr. Genius 𝗤𝗔𝗓man,
Oh, sorry.
fix this, or at least tell me how to fix this.
Fix this.
Give an impromptu build tips because I am quite frankly stuck at this point. Some of the changes I've made, I swapped a lot of this for the dark oak to give it some contrast between the spruce, to kind of highlight some lines. And I made the top thing wider because it seemed to be a little too narrow and it seemed to be a little off. There was originally a slatted roof here.
There we go.
I decided balcony instead. But
well,
that's where I'm at, so enlighten me.
Did Nimril leave?
Yeah, like
did,
2 AM for her.
Ah,
The
fair
block
enough.
palette wise, you're using like green concrete. The problem with green concrete is very, very flat block. So it's really important to then texturize that. So you've got your green wall, and then if you've got dark bits, you've got your green terracotta and stuff. Like trying to get a little bit of texture in there. You can also use like vines and stuff like that. Obviously, like when you start adding decoration, that'll pull bits in and out as well.
I would say that's probably where I'm stuck at the moment is the decoration, because I will admit I have not textured it yet.
Yeah.
I tend to like to do that as the very last step, because what tends to happen is if I don't, is I'll texture it, and then I always seem to put decorations where the texture went, and then it was like, oh, you never actually textured it.
So you have this weird kind of reverse way of building it?
Pretty much, yep. Nothing I ever do is the right way. So story-wise,
I'm thinking.
This was a tip I got pointed out, is kind of try and think about the realism and kind of the story. So that's why I have a balcony over here
Delicious
and a balcony back here, because I'm like, you know what? Whoever is running this, why would you put a balcony looking out over the shopping district? The sea is going to be a much more beautiful thing to look at. And so if you were living here, like, where would you want to put your balcony? Granted,
Yeah,
I
think
did
about the story.
Yeah, but the front one looks just like a small terrace that goes over top of your entrance, like.
Yeah, I figured right here is where people would park their horses if they actually rode their horse. Not that I really believe any of us are going to ride horses here, but from a story standpoint, that's where they can be covered up, protected from the weather while they go in and spend all their emeralds.
Right. And to answer your question, I am planning on having like a large central balloon to it, and then having like two smaller ones off to the side tied together. I just think that would look cool. I have a reference of image I'm working off of that is close to what I'm thinking. That one has way more than 3 balloons. I think 3 is plenty. This one has. It looks like it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's like 7 balloons on the way that one.
I feel like the two things I'm fighting on this particular build at this point is one, everything is very single layer. Like my walls, like so to speak, my walls are all single layer. So any decorations like this little hutch thing that I put over this door instantly looks too bulky just because there's only there very clearly is only one layer behind. And I've seen in castles a lot of times they'll do like 3 or 4 thick walls, so you have a little more play for depth.
Yeah.
That's
now
one thing I think
I'm speaking or was speaking and did not have my mic unmuted, so I just want to say I am really good at this streaming thing. I am
the
best
small
at it.
black sail at the very front.
Top level.
Oh, this one over this one? I think it's this one. I think he means this one.
Yeah, I had my mic muted.
Oh,
you guys over there where the ships and stuff are?
Yeah, I came over here before, yeah. So this design is based on a real life design. It's based on the Queen Anne's Revenge, which is Blackbeard's ship. And for some reason, so it's technically the same as a sprit sail, right? But like the bowsprit sail is normally like lower down. On that ship, it was higher up. No idea why. That's just where it was. So I just mimicked that. I think technically it did have another one going across here. I think it had 2, one underneath and one on the top. But I think the problem I had an issue with the one lower down. I think it's because it got in the way of the bit, because I technically should have taken that up a little bit higher, ever so slightly, by like an extra block and a half. I think so. I think it was like a block and a half out, I believe. I don't know why there's a turtle over here. A random turtle.
Turtles over here?
Oh, just a random turtle over here. Don't know where it's come from.
Oh, a turtle. Turtle.
Yeah.
Not the turtle.
Oh, no, not the turtle. No.
You know what's interesting about that? About Turtle in general? Well, it's not really. It's about him, but it's kind of about him. Is that I didn't even really mean to do it, but the name of this creative world, 𝗥𝗚𝗚𝗏, is the name of the giant turtle that the world rests on in Buddhist mythology. So not only does Turtle own the entire ironclad network, but by proxy is probably the god of this world.
Makes sense.
We are all on Turtle's shoulders right now. I'm sure he would be happy to hear that.
Oh yeah, he'd be a huge fan of that.
I do like that new server there, super hardcore. That is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, it's great. Big fan of that. Been really enjoying that.
Ant, I heard you officially joined the random faction. If he's listening. He might be listening. Not sure.
Well, yeah, we were talking about sales. So technically, so the Queen Anne's Revenge around here has another sale about there. And then it has 2 smaller sails, essentially up amongst this rigging that are sort of forward-facing triangular ones. But it started to look too clumped up when I was doing that on this version. So I ended up taking some inspiration from the artistic representation of the Queen Anne's Revenge as seen in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which is another rendition of Blackbeard's ship where they had to take artistic,
amazing game.
Yeah, they had to take some artistic, a couple of artistic liberties. I think they did the same and removed the triangular bits at the front just for vision-based stuff that was just getting in the way. I think, if I remember correctly. But I think there's some cutscenes, in honesty, where it's actually included in like the movie sequences for Assassin's Creed 4, but it actually isn't in the game, like when you're actually in there. So. But yeah, that's what the sail is at the front. It's just part of 𝗠𝗢𝗏𝗡 Revenge's bowsprit sprit sail. There's an upper and a lower one.
How do you guys know all this nautical stuff? I know none of this.
I mean, I literally I was having to learn bits to make the Queen Anne's Revenge ship, because that's what I wanted to base the EMS Nautilus on, because I'm a fan of the Golden Age of piracy. And I did learn some stuff to do with old ships, specifically because I in history, because I was home educated, I did piracy as part of my history, because I kind of felt like it was an interesting subject.
Entity wanted to say that as a real life captain, he appreciates your answer. I always forget you have nautical experience there, Ent. I remember now how much the backward sails on the last airship I built.
Yeah, so I remember that as well.
He was not pleased with it.
Oh no, no, he wasn't. I remember being called over, and he would just be like, "The sails," and the sails, they're backwards. Do you think he'd mind if I put them the right way around? Probably, I don't know. Probably not. I think it was when we were doing the ironclad lobby.
It made me so sad. Yeah, that was. It was when we were building the lobby. Yeah, fun little fact, guys. We built the, well, not all the randoms, but a fair few of them.
Yeah, it was me, you, Nimril, and Pixels. I won Archon. But obviously those two haven't, they kind of fell away from Randomcraft in Season 1 due to personal reasons. Hopefully, Pixels will be back for Season 2.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember distinctly when I first joined, because I joined about a month later, watching 𝗤𝗏𝗔's video and just seeing your zombie running chase scene and just being astounded. And then I think I made it to Pixels next. And between Pixels' intro and your intro, like, for me, that established, like, okay, this is what I need to do when I come to Randomcraft in a good way. I was like, oh, we're telling stories, we're doing narratives, we're trying to do this fun stuff. I later figured out, like, copying that word for word isn't exactly what the goal is, but just the dedication and care that was put in there, like, really stood out to me at that time. And I was like, that's fantastic. I should try to do that. And
that
then
sequence was really fun to make too.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And that actually is what kind of led to, like, my little Gerald shorts and things, those little, like, 2-minute music videos. I actually have a lot of fun doing those. They take forever.
What takes you so long on them? I'm just curious. Like, what do you think? Do you think your improved workflow would make that go better now?
Not really. The main reason is you're trying to sync up the video to the audio, for one. And you have to do it in replay mod, because I want those cinematic camera angles, and I don't really understand cinematic camera angles yet. So, I'm fussing around with that. But then you lay out the sequence, and then you run it through replay mod, and then you have to splice it back down. Like, it adds a lot of extra steps. And so from a workflow standpoint, they're more involved, I would say, than a regular one. From an ability to sit down and work on it standpoint, they're just as difficult as anything else. But that's why I use that reverse Pomodoro, where I play Minecraft for like 25 minutes and then do responsible things for 5. I'll just need to switch the 5 minutes to editing and call it good.
How is that coming along?
Which episode? I have like 4 in the works right now. All of them. Yes. My answer is yes. Actually, the one that everybody seems to be really wanting to see is the Halloween episode, and we've now had Turkey Day, which is a whole nother holiday a month later.
Yep.
Fighting some video corruption there, and I mean, if I'm being quite frank, even though that's not my name, but you know, 𝗠𝗢𝗏, the things that 𝗠𝗢𝗏 does in that episode, the things that 𝗠𝗢𝗏 does in that episode isn't really something 𝗠𝗢𝗏 would view as important to tell anybody about. To be so, like, there's that part of me that's like,
It's like what?
the audience, and the audience probably doesn't care that 𝗠𝗢𝗏 isn't going to reveal that. Like, the audience needs to see it, because sometimes it's nice to let the audience know what's going on behind the scenes.
I suppose that's true.
Yes. Also, I'm just making, if I wait long enough on it...
Important question. I have an important question coming in from Ant. I don't know what it is, but...
Well, while he's getting that ready, the other reason why I'm still working on the Halloween episode is it makes the angry panda angrier, and eventually we will either get a superhero or a supervillain. Because
this might be how you make Randomia Joker. I'm just saying.
I think we already have a Randomia Joker.
We do?
I wish it was me, but it's not. It is not.
As one.
I am looking forward to 1.18 though, to finally do the
Does it have
new
like
Gotham
roofs and
though.
stuff?
That's gonna be fun.
No, they're the ones that cost more.
Should save that for another season.
That's why
Yeah,
Mom's is
yeah,
not
100%. I was about to say.
Uh,
I don't know how much time is really going to be left
The other
on
one I
season
saw
1 by
at
the time 118 is
paper was-
sorted.
Hmm.
Oh, it's supposed to be like next month, right? But with 119 scheduled for next summer, it's only going to give you like a couple of months or so before the closing of season 1.
Oh, that's right.
Also, like if you like, I think it would have like a good polarizing sort of thing. Like if you're continuing the plan that you have at the moment for Gerald, that arc, you know, with the village and all, you know, just having like he's doing a quaint, nice little peaceful, idealistic village, and Shallon's there. It's just like Gotham. It's completely polar opposite.
I love that.
Oh. I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't know if Gerald's gonna make it out of this season, to be honest.
Why?
Plot lines.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like,
Actually,
I can understand that because
I think it's honestly the other way. I don't think Shallon's gonna make it back to this season. Gerald will be fine. 𝗠𝗢𝗏, he's yeah, there'll be an accident. Sorry, you were saying something.
I've played multiple characters on Randomcraft, and it's not an easy thing to do, and that's with having experience of doing a lot of roleplay stuff previously. I could imagine for you it's been really difficult to find that balance between what is 𝗠𝗢𝗏 and what is Gerald. Because even at times I've been like, where am I actually going with my stuff?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to kind of go with a realistic standpoint too. Is I have lots and lots of plans. I am not the best at executing said plans, and I would rather, you know, if I can't fix the execution, then what I need to do is I need to power it down to where we're actually getting the successful stuff. Which right now we're kind of in a good place for that because of what 𝗠𝗢𝗏's up to and what Gerald's up to. Makes it a little simpler.
Yeah, I mean, as I sort of said earlier, I'm not going to go too much in depth with it, but Lag and I have been speaking a bit about season 2, and we have some plans that may make certain things more entertaining depending on what your plans are. So that might change like your vision, because you might be like, oh, this is actually a great season to be doing this. But we will not be divulging that information for a while.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
I love how like there's probably enough like hidden knowledge between like conversations that I've had with Enigma and 𝗤𝗏𝗏's had with Enigma. Like I have the feeling he puts little pebbles of knowledge and he scatters them around us. And if we would ever unite together and actually have a discussion, we probably could get the whole picture.
Yeah, probably.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know, that
that's never
requires
gonna happen.
coordination.
Uh,
Did Entity
we all
ask
know
his-
how you are about coordination there, Shelly, especially with ladders.
Did Entity ask his important question?
Yes, he did. He asked, "Did anybody here?" He knew it was Thanksgiving. So did anybody fry the turkey here? I said, unfortunately, I was not blessed with the deliciousness that is a fried turkey.
I am not a huge lover of turkey, so I didn't even cook turkey because I'm not a huge. I don't particularly like it. It's just nearly swore. It's just terrible chicken. It's just Frankenstein chicken. Just terrible
I
chicken.
love turkey.
But
I do actually, honestly, I prefer duck.
Yeah. I absolutely love duck.
I never get to eat it, but the few times that I have,
Yeah, I tend to cook that quite regularly for the duck, or used to. Now here it's a lot harder to get. So sadly, no. But I've never, to be honest though, I've never fried a turkey. So it might be a lot better that way. Because
fried turkey is genuinely delicious.
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
complaint I
sounds
have
fun.
about fried turkey, is the fact that it just doesn't last. Like, I don't know what it is. Like when you bake a turkey, when you roast one, it'll hold in your fridge for a good week or so, week and a half, give or take. Fried turkey about 2-3 days. Bad. I don't know why, what it is about the frying process, but it goes bad really quick.
I can actually tell you this.
Oh,
This is
okay.
something I know.
No,
Because when you bake something, you are extracting moisture out of it, and bacteria
that makes
for
sense.
the stuff requires moisture. Whereas frying something locks moisture in, which is why like if you have KFC, the chicken is more succulent, I guess, juicy than if you were to bake like a drumstick. You have it like, in fact, KFC here do like a baked version of their stuff, and the chicken is more dry. At least here they do. Where I am, there's a baked version. Where you are, maybe not.
I mean, I'm in the South. They
Yeah.
fry everything here.
Yeah, I was trying to say that.
You go to our carnivals and they've got like fried Oreos and
Yeah, more moisture, more bacteria.
okay.
So it won't last as long. Because essentially, it's almost like when you bake something, although it doesn't get rid of as much moisture. It is still, the extraction of moisture is a way of preserving. Hence, beef jerky, which lasts for ages.
Love beef jerky.
Yeah, I genuinely love beef jerky. Maybe next Thanksgiving I'll just eat a bag of beef jerky and be done with it.
We made some deer jerky, which was quite nice.
Oh yeah, an old friend of mine used to make it constantly, who lives in Maryland, and he would always tell me how great it was, and I've never tried it.
Next time I make a batch, I'll have to send you some.
I'd return the
So
favor
good.
with Scotch eggs, but you know,
They probably wouldn't.
I don't know. I don't know if they would. Yeah, I don't think they would ship very well.
So N wants to know, is US KFC better than UK KFC? Which
Oh
one's better?
no, it's way worse. Entity, it's way worse. I don't like KFC here. They are
I have
shockingly
the same
bad.
opinion, except I've had it from Jamaica, and Jamaica's was a billion times better.
Do you know what really upset me is they don't have the chicken burgers that we do in the UK. In fact, they don't have until recently. I think they did like the stack or something here recently. Here, there's like a promotional thing, but like the Wicked Zinger burger, the Colonel burger, they don't exist. They're not things. Like the menu's like
what the heck's a
quarter of our
chicken
menu.
burger?
It's just TNT and Magic's in Magic Bill. Shallon, you troll.
You were Magic was supposed to find that. Not you.
I won't tell him. Don't worry. Yeah, it's about, I don't know. It's not core. It's about half the size of our menu, and they don't tend to have fries with their KFC. It tends to be mashed potato, which is just wrong. All scales are wrong. Like the last thing I want with fried chicken is mashed potato. But
that is the thing here, though.
yeah,
It's mashed
and
potato.
biscuits. You know, like you know, our sort of savoury scones. They have those with it as well. It comes as like part of the
I
thing.
knew you wouldn't be able to stand calling it a biscuit.
No,
I
no,
knew you wouldn't.
no. Biscuit. Biscuit's a Latin word. Bis and quit, which means twice cooked.
Well, now that we've had this thrilling KFC discussion, I think I'm gonna leave and go get KFC.
Not that he is suggestible at all. Also,
No,
this
no.
stream is not sponsored by KFC. Just as it wasn't Doritos, there are other chicken establishments out there.
I highly recommend Popeyes. Popeyes is delicious.
See, here, I actually prefer Mr. Chicken. I don't know if that's a national thing or a more local thing.
Never heard of a Mr. Chicken.
Yeah, there's a place, there's like a chain here called Mr. Chicken, and it's way better than the KFC here.
The biscuits were a massive culture shock. Oh, he said he got KFC in Florida. The biscuits were a massive culture shock. They didn't even get mashed potatoes. But there's a better one. A better what? Oh, God. I'm afraid.
Also, the coleslaw.
No.
Like the
I didn't.
coleslaw at KFC here is so much sweeter. Like it's just like eating syrup. It's like eating carroty syrup. It's way too sweet.
Carroty syrup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty in line with what most most American food is. We love our ridiculous amounts of sweetness to everything. We add sugar to everything.
Yeah,
Not really sure why.
really struggled with it.
You want some potato cakes?
Sure.
Sitting here on stream, and then I hear from the kitchen the missus go, "Potato cakes." No other context. No other context at all. Just potato cakes.
Yeah, there's a few sort of like weird differences here. McDonald's is another one. Like the McDonald's menu here is smaller than it is in the UK, which surprised me. Because we have this vision in the UK.
And
just
why were
everything
you
is
in
smaller.
Alabama? Nobody wants to go to Alabama. Not even the people who live in Alabama want to go to Alabama. It was surreal. I can imagine the culture shock was real.
Yeah, I would think it probably was. Need to grab.
Oh, there's a battleship. Wait a minute. Alabama doesn't... Does that... I have to look at a map. Is that... Is there an
So
ocean?
fun-
There's no... That's
Fun
not a
fact
coastal
that
state.
isn't super fun. But remember how you asked me if this build was inspired by the Lego fishing hut? Well, I did go look that up, and no, it is not. However, Gerald's blacksmith in Gerald's village was 100% inspired by the medieval blacksmith Lego kit.
Nice.
They're like essentially the same thing. I just swapped some colors and took away some of the detail.
Oh yeah, no, there is. There is a very small bit of Alabama that touches the coast. It's near Mobile. Well, what do you know? Learn something new every day. To be fair, I learn lots of new things every day. Not sure if that's speaking to my failings academically, or if that's just, you know, I tend to find things that I don't know. You shut up now.
Well, Bromigos, I think I have family plans this evening, so I'm gonna head off and go
You
deal with
think?
that.
It's good to know those things are concrete, sir.
Yeah,
That shouldn't be something you're guessing about, is all I'm saying.
well, it depends on what time everybody else
I better
got
go.
off
I
work.
think I'm due to get married tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yesterday, 3 weeks, I don't know. At some point. When someone comes to drag me out in a suit, we know it's time. Alright, you guys have fun.
I
Catch
see,
up
man.
with you at a later point in time.
Alright, man.
So yeah. Let's pull that out.
Oh, that's why that's not breaking. It's like, why is that not breaking? Because I'm using my magic axe on it.
That'll do it.
Ah, World Edit. Such a great tool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have not been to a Bass
remove
Pro
it.
Shop. There is a similar shop up the road from me called...
And yeah,
I
and
guess
must
it's
just
all-
be.
it's
Sure.
interesting questions.
Entity's asked me that question twice. I'm starting to think he is addicted to that shop because I distinctly remember him asking me this twice because I had to look it up both times.
As a tree surgeon, I can understand his interest just because it is a rather... I mean, Ent strikes me as an outdoorsy type.
Yeah. Yeah.
In if you're a tree surgeon, you're outdoorsy, and yeah, it's a very outdoorsy kind of shop. But no, I have not been to a Bass Pro Shop. I would go. I'm not super outdoorsy in that sense, but I'd give it a shot. I'd look around. I do like to fish, actually. I haven't done it in a long time. There's nothing like that in the UK at all. That's a shame. Wait. Do you guys have a weird infatuation with country music?
What?
Do the English have a weird infatuation with country music?
I mean, I once watched somebody nearly get attacked for putting a country song on.
So I'll take that as no. I'll take that as no.
I mean,
That's-
the UK's weird because like it's like, you know how like states here are different. Like it's like that, but on a much smaller scale. Like there's a difference in accent, like 10 miles down the road. You know, like the
Well, I have
accents
no
are
idea.
completely
I have no
different.
doubt that you guys have like your own version of like the redneck and stuff like that. Like everywhere
What is
has
our
something like
version
that.
of? I don't actually know what our version of the redneck would be. I guess chavs is probably the closest we'd have, but that's more like the white trash sort of trailer trash type thing here.
Wait, what is it called?
Chav.
Cotton Eye Joe is as far as we fall down the ladder.
Yeah, the west country is, but they're more I think they're less redneck and more what's the state, like Idaho? Is it Idaho? You know, like the corn states where they're just like all they know is farming, and you just can't get any more information out of them. Where it's just pretty boring. It's all about the farming. They don't care about anything else. That's more the West Country vibe. Just replace odd and for the did not put. No, should just do that. these. I think that's all the stuff off of there. Yep, yesterday.
Wait, what? And says he's not sure if he agrees with you there. They all go out on the weekend. They go out on their weekend shoots, all in their Land Rovers, smoking their pipe.
Yeah, I mean, farmers have this tendency to shoot things, but it's their land that they're shooting things on, as opposed...
I mean, to be fair, that happens here. Quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like most Americans, right? If they live rurally, go out hunting. I know that's something that Hal used to do constantly. He'd like go foraging and stuff for his mushrooms and hunting deer.
Yeah, I'm not really into it, but I have been hunting. Not a big fan of it, personally.
Yeah, I was never a huge lover.
But I've done it. I get very bored. A lot of hunting is just sitting there and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, it's the same reason I'm not a huge lover of fishing. Fishing to me is just a couple of men who want to get drunk next to some water. Because that's all my experience is with fishing, is just you go there, don't catch anything really, and get drunk. That's about it.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I mean, nothing. I'd just rather do it not near water, because, you know, drunk water, I'm either going to get naked and swim in it or drown. One of the two is going to occur.
I'm still not seeing the problem here.
When it's just completely off topic. It's just you and I and stuff, and you know the rest of the internet. When I used to, when I lived in the UK, there was a period of time.
Lion skin.
There was a period of time where I lived in like a seaside town up north called Morecambe, and they had this thing there. It was a natural swimming pool, so it was on the beach. And the tide would come in, or when the tide went out, it would trap water in this little bit each time, so it became like the swimming pool. And it got referred to as the crab pool, because obviously, you know, certain fish and crabs and stuff like that would be trapped in there as well, so it was like you were swimming in the sea. It was relatively deep. I think it was probably about 20 foot at its deepest or something. There was one year... a little bit further on than where we are now. It was December time, and I was relatively seeing chunks of ice in the sea is weird. You know, like it's just a bizarre thing seeing like ice forming and stuff in seawater. And I decided for a dare, I was with my sister, that I would go swimming in this freezing cold, icy seawater. And then
that sounds like generally a bad idea.
It worked out well for me. It's because afterwards, I was soaking wet. Bits of my clothes were starting to freeze. Then I went to the fish and chip shop there and put on an Irish accent and said that I'd swam across the sea because I heard their fish and chips were great, and they just gave me a free portion. Either because they believed me, or they thought I was mad. One of the two.
Either way, it worked out.
Either way, I got free fish and chips. I think I won that.
I would agree. Oh, I like that. That actually turned out really good.
I thought Shannon had put more TNT down. It's not. It's the actual blocks outside your shop that you put down.
Oh,
custom heads. I just saw him from a distance. I was like, oh god, here we go again. He's done more. No, it's not. Fine.
Okay, you does the airships. What do you think so far?
Mm-hmm.
And no, don't ask me why I decided to put an airship right here. I just thought it would look cool. Would add to the skyline.
Add to it. What is this bit that you're now destroying?
Oh, I just copied the other side so I could make sure that this had good symmetry.
Alright.
Just as like a... It was just there for me to like use as a reference.
So you essentially got like...
No, they're... Oh, they're right there in the freaking bowl. I forgot to put them away. My bad.
like...
Small family. I know the... You're saying you're wanting to go skydiving. I have never done it. I do want to go skydiving one day.
Jet propulsion type thing, or rocket propulsion system.
Yeah, it's like a jet. This is like a jet engine with a couple smaller jets below. And then I'll probably have some kind of like... Let me grab this just to show as an example. I want to have like a rudder type thing back here. It kind of drops down.
Yeah.
Maybe even have it split. Not sure how I want to do that yet. Because like I wanted to have like a fin or two back here, and then like up here somewhere, maybe another fin or something. You know, like maybe a couple smaller ones near the front. And then,
so what's it?
So the balloons up top.
I'm gonna say it because it might be something that's going to Entity's head as well. What are the fins for?
What do you mean?
Well, what are the fins? So, on some on some airships, they're to catch wind to give you some form, but you have
steering.
All right,
steering.
See, all right, cool.
I get you now. Yeah. Lift is generated by the balloons. Forward propulsion is generated by the rockets, and steering and braking would be done through the flaps.
Yeah.
Here, actually, I'll just send you the reference.
Oh, sure, yeah. Do that. That would definitely be helpful.
This isn't exactly what I'm wanting the final results of, but it's similar to what I have in mind. Discord. Go away. Please don't call them flaps. They're flaps. Because, I mean, I know lots more things go wrong on the landing, but jumping out of a plane is no way to avoid that. Well, to be fair, the falling is not what kills you, so... The falling has little to do with any injury. I mean, other than it was the start of, you know...
Did you send me this?
What?
The image.
No, I just sent it.
Alright, cool. Okay. So those...
Again, not exact, but like the way the fins are that come off the bottom there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked near the lower portion in the back, you can kind of see like the rudder underneath a little bit.
Yeah.
In fact, looking at the image now, that ruddering system would probably be more like here.
Yeah, it's about a third of the way down the ship. Taking into account the thing. So it's about there.
Yeah, maybe a little, yeah, I'll say a little further back.
Yeah, about there.
Yes, and all of this is being recorded. YouTube saves the streams automatically and uploads them as soon as they finish rendering.
I've been watching way too much Red Dwarf recently. Okay, so...
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Oh god, no. That's one of my favourite shows. Yes, you've changed some of the anglings and stuff.
What's that?
That'd be...
Well, there's still obviously way more detailing to do as I come up.
Oh yeah. I'm just thinking you've changed a couple of the anglings. It's not like a 1-for-1 representation. I see, like definitely inspired by, as opposed to like trying to recreate. That's what I was just looking.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make
like,
this exact thing.
Yeah,
it's just I liked the overall shape of the body of the ship. So I kind of went with a similar shape, but not exactly. I didn't want to make this thing longer than the shopping district itself is. So
yeah.
I have adjusted that shape. And of course, this I think would need to be built up over here. Like this would need to come up.
Yeah.
And then like maybe that, and then nice little slope to it. Actually, looks pretty good. I might leave that. Oh, that applies to both of us. Is it one or multiple? It's multiple balloons. Multiple balloons. Which will have 3. So like, if this is the airship, the balloons, it will have like a center one.
So the one in the image actually has 7.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want 3 on mine though.
Yeah, because that
basically
it's very balloony.
This is a very poor representation, but essentially, this would be the configuration of the balloons. You'd have the larger balloon in the center, just above the other 2, which are tethered underneath it, and kind of to the side.
Very finny as well. It's almost like they went a bit extreme. Like they had.
Yeah, that's a good way. So imagine recreating this in Minecraft, but dialing it back a little bit.
Yeah, toning it, because like there is no reason for it to have that many balloons.
Yeah, it's a bit overboard.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of have you ever heard of Guns of Icarus?
Yes.
It reminds me of one of the ships in Guns of Icarus, the exam.
Are they fins or are they flaps? Well, you told me not to call them flaps, good sir. But I will just send you the image as well.
To be honest, in the picture, it looks like they've taken some... They almost look more like finned oars. To be honest, like...
They do, kind of. They have like a shaft that sticks into the ship. And I don't even know that there's necessarily a jet engine on this thing. I mean, those top balloons in the back kind of look like they have engines on the rear end. Like they're not actually balloons.
Yeah, it's like on the stickleback design I did. There's like the main balloon, and then coming like underneath on angles either side are like 2 almost like rocket style ballast type things.
Oh, my kid is listening. It's not funny that it's flappy. I'm confused. It's also hilarious. Yeah. He went a bit overboard. I mean, it's a cool illustration. Regardless. It is a cool illustration, regardless. I think it looks pretty.
The only thing I can think is the reason that they're on, because those lower, I'm gonna call them fins for now. They don't look like they would serve much of a purpose in terms of like steering. Like, if anything, they would be counterintuitive, because being out like that, it's going to slow you down because it's going to increase the air resistance. They'll act like a sail because like you're going forwards and then the air's going to be pushing against the front of them. But I'm wondering if they're on the orbits like that, whether the idea is they fold in on itself, so they become like parallel to the ship, like they go alongside it, and it's almost like that is its braking system to slow down, like they come forwards, almost like an air brake.
I see what you mean. So in this image, the ship is slowing down.
Yeah,
potentially. Like
as it sort of it folds back, and then when it wants to slow down, it pulls them out to act as like.
I'm sorry, Enigma, to inform you, but according to Ent, and he is an authority on this, he said very precisely, "Oh no, they have zero purpose. The guy just likes flaps."
No, but yeah. On his, they because they should, if that was the case, they should be getting bigger the further front they're going, not smaller the way that they are.
No, I just like how very matter of fact that Ent decided to put that.
But they, in terms of an airship, in terms of an airship, the flaps normally, or fins that sit at the bottom, come out to act as an air brake, but they are essentially the same as what you did on your original airship. They're back to front if that's the case in terms of sizing. I don't know much about
apply logic to something that has no logic. Very well spoken, sir.
I'm not a hugely knowledgeable on ships, but airships, because I'm a huge steampunk nerd. There's a lot of reading on that. I actually think the lower fins for air braking is actually an old Leonardo da Vinci design, because he actually drew an airship. If I recall, I think it was him, and he had these fins at the bottom that he said would come out to act as air brakes to slow it. Well, I think he said to steady propulsion. I think it was. So. But yeah, so they could be used that, but they're technically incorrect, and also the amount of drag from the ship that those little shafts would just snap. Because the amount of force being applied would just snap them. They'd need to be a little bit. The ones further back, though, do look sturdier. They look like they've got like these metal joins, but the ones further forward look like they've just got like a stick going into the ship. But I mean, that's normally like a thing that occurs during concept art stage, is that somebody will concept art, and then when it gets to like the person who's 3D modeling it, they're like, that wouldn't work. They make the adjustments.
All right, hold on a second. It was just an airship you used to get the ladies' attention. Yeah, pretty much. No. Oh, that one is just an airship you used to get the ladies. I get you. I can see that. It's just made to look as ridiculous as possible.
Like what's the word? I bet like when militaries have like their dress uniforms for doing parades and stuff, you think it's like a parade ship. It's not built with any sort of thing, just was built to be overtly flamboyant, specifically for like parading. Just like
the word's flamboyant. I've switched sides here.
Just to attract women, like the airship pilot's equivalent to like avian, like which bird-based courtship. How it's just like with the more sort of like elaborate it looks, the more attractive it is.
Ent called it peacocking.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, no, I totally see it.
Well, I am going to have to go and make some food and stuff because we spoke about food a lot, and now my stomach is just like, why have you not put any of that in me, though? So...
I actually need to go do the same. I've been on here for quite a while.
I think
accomplished very little.
I think some people are streaming tomorrow as well. So I may do a stream tomorrow and ask whoever is online then some questions, or I will just do some building. But I'm also working on some other stuff.
The Q&As. I like.
Yeah.
I will love
failing
to
that
be part of it again tomorrow too, but I will not be. I will be at the job. So
yeah, failing that, and like maybe next week, because technically the birthday for Randomcraft is sort of like middle of next week, sort of early next week. So maybe sort of towards the end of next week, if I can organize a bunch of the randoms to be available, rather than actually being in Minecraft playing, so I'm not just serving as a distraction. We'll actually do like a little panel. And I will put some questions forward to them on there, and we'll discuss the past year. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I am going to go and get some food.
See you later, Enigma.
See you next time, boxheads.